Hello, good afternoon. A little bit early, but there we go. Okay, let's have a look on their comments. So it is just 4 minutes to 3 o'clock. So I'd just like to get everything working. I think the little green lights are coming on, so everything seems to be working okay. So we've got 2 people in the house. If you leave a comment, thumbs up if everything is working okay. Okay, Dave from Got to Love Thailand. Hello, Dave. How's everything going with you? I sent you a message on the other day on your solar kayak thing. How's your trailer coming on for your motorbike? You were building a trailer. So that would be interesting to see. So there we go. Scar Guru, hello there. Nice for you to come in. Oh, we've got 10 people in the house. That's good, isn't it? There we go. Always ready with my retiring and living dream, the mug, my cup of coffee, and I've got some water, because usually this goes on for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So talking all the time, you need a little bit of lubrication. And I might have a Chang or a Leo later on tonight. But as you can see today, a little bit overcast today, a little bit cloudy. And boy, is the weather changed in the past couple of weeks or so. Okay, there, Play's making a tree. We bought some flowers type of thing, and she's busy making some garden ornaments. Oh, well done. So anyway, we'll show you them later on when I'll do a video on all things that she's made one day. Basically, we bought some plastic plants because we go away on holidays quite a few times, and at the end of the day, if you go away and you don't water the plants, then they can die. Whereas if you get the plastic ones, and in Thailand, actually, the plastic ones look very, very realistic. So we bought a few of them, and we're going to have a practice and see what they look like and just have a bit of colour, because we've got lots of greenery stuff everywhere, but it's just nice to have the plants in that as well. Yeah, I've had my ears lowered. I had an interview today with a magazine, and again, all that lot will come out in the future type of thing. So I had my hair cut and my eyebrows done. Look at all my eyebrows done, my nasal hairs cut type of thing. So yeah, I mean, it was getting my hair grows very, very quickly, and it's only like £2, 100 baht to get your hair cut here. So we went to the hairdressers and yeah, had it thinned out, and it does make a difference. It really does. Otherwise, I mean, you're hot and sweaty anyway, but when you've got thick hair, I mean, I'm lucky the fact that I've still got hair as well, and I haven't got an eagle's nest with one egg in the back of it. So so I can't complain. You know, long may it last. My dad was going thin at about 50 years old, so hopefully I'll have hair for as long as I live. But then again, you know, when you see these people with the comb overs and things like that, I'd sooner not do anything like that. Just have it cut down to number 1 or even 0, you know, rather than the wispy hair blowing all over the place. I know a couple of guys who've done that. I know a couple of guys who wear wigs as well. 54 days into 2025, and I think we've had a couple of sunshine days, grey skies and gloom. Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? You know, the grey skies. We're coming into rainy season. Maybe it's a month or so away from rainy season. There's a little bit of a storm going on in the South China Sea, so things are starting to come over this way a little bit. We've had rain, maybe it's an hour of rain for the past 2 or 3 days. But never, it waters the garden, doesn't it? It saves us watering the garden. But hey ho, that's the way things go. So what else have we got down here? Have you noticed that once you get past 40, the hair and the nose goes crazy? What's the biological purpose for that? I don't know. Okay, Dave's back. Yeah, it's also your ear hairs as well. Why do they grow quick? I remember somebody saying before, if once you start cutting them, then they grow back even quicker. I mean, I have bushes of coming out my ears. So when you have a shave, like, then you do the ears and that. But it's getting old. Apparently, that's the only thing that doesn't stop growing for the whole life is your ears. Your ears grow for the whole of your life. That's a useless piece of information, I know, but it's one of them things that's stuck in my mind with regard to information. So talking of information, we've got an interesting talk today type of thing. And remember, this is your chance to ask any questions that you want to ask. And if you want to ask something, just put it in the comments below and put a Q. And if you put a Q in it, then I can see. Oh, that's better. I've turned the writing up a little bit now, so I can see a bit better. If you put a Q in front of it, then I know it's a question. And sometimes, because the comments scroll through, I may miss a question because I'm rambling on and answering somebody else's question. So it's not that I'm ignoring it. It's just that I've probably missed the question because I don't read the comments as everyone comes through. You just see every now and then. But if there's a capital Q at the front of it, then I can see it's a question. So let's start off with the good news. That was quick, wasn't it? Okay. There's lots of sad news in the past week or so in Thailand, and the elephant in the room, the visas, the bank accounts, the cutting down of foreigners, making it easy, making it hard for agents to obtain visas and things like that. So let's go through these one by one, and these are my own personal thoughts on all of this, backed up by various people and various other YouTube bloggers that I've seen and watched. And basically, the bank account is the first place that all of the people wash the money with the bank accounts and things like that. So they've got to make a start somewhere, and sadly, when they cast the net out to catch the criminals, sometimes they capture the people that are doing good and doing okay, and they get dragged in with everything else. And I think this is the case of what's happening with the bank accounts. Basically, it has already become more difficult for somebody to open up a bank account. So then agents were being used to open people's bank accounts. And basically what's happened now, even the agents are struggling. No problem. Even the agents are struggling to open people's bank accounts. And it's a bit of like a chicken and egg scenario. You need a bank account to get the visa. You need a visa to be able to get a bank account. So my own personal opinion, this happened a number of years ago. And basically what happened then is that everything went up. The prices went up for opening up a bank account. Prices went up for opening or getting a retirement visa. So I think the same thing will happen again. This is just sort of a, supply and demand type of thing. And I think there's plenty of demand. So things will start happening back. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before they could start reopening bank accounts and things like that. But let's face it, at the end of the day, can you blame them? There's lots of washed items all over the place in Thailand. They're cutting down on the scam centers and things like that, and they have fictitious bank accounts. So it's Thailand just doing what Thailand does. It's cutting down on corruption and things like that. And to be honest, I can't really blame them. And I tip my hats off to them for actually doing it. Maybe as if some other countries do the same, it would be a better place. The visas is a sticky situation for those people that don't meet the funds. The agents used to put the money into a bank account, and it was in your bank account for all of 3 minutes. Then it came out, and then miraculously you got your visa back within a few weeks or so. Can you blame the Thai government for tightening up on that? Bearing in mind what's happening with Thailand, it's having a bit of bad press at the minute with the Ruskies, and I watched something the other day about the Israelis in Pai causing a little bit of anger and aggression towards the Thai people and sort of taking over little things. Now, I didn't realize that was happening in Pai. We were in Pai Christmas time, and sort of never noticed what was going on. But when I watched the video today with regard to what was going on in Pai, I'm thinking, oh yeah, there was a lot of tubers coming back from an event. There must have been about a dozen like song towers just packed with tourists have been on this rubber tube, and all scantily clad ladies and guys type of thing, as there would be coming back from a U-tube in the river. But yeah, they were obviously very, very drunk and mau, and they were singing, and I just thought it was joviality. I didn't think it was anything untoward or anything bad. But apparently they're having a lot of bad press at the minute in Pai, and young people are just sort of sounding off a little bit. So yeah, crack down early to avoid further trouble, I think. Same with the Ruskies in Phuket and things like that. They're sort of filling the boots, thinking they can take over Thailand, and it's other people it's causing it bad for us, people who abide by the law and stick with everything. If the Thai government make it harder for people to settle here, expats will be off to the Philippines instead. Yeah, I'll come on to that with regard to that. Come over on March 10th for 2 weeks, Les. Okay, good. March the 10th. That's only knocking on the door now, isn't it? A couple of weeks or so away. Enjoy when you come over to Thailand. It's a brilliant place. It really is brilliant. Seems like they only want tourists, not retirees. I sort of disagree with that. Question: is there a growing feeling of xenophobia in Thailand? No. No. Bad news sells newspapers, isn't it? And bad news, people always watch the news. If it was full of, happiness and laughter and everything, then that's boring news. People, I found that on my videos. If I put some shocking videos out, some going broke in Thailand and stuff like that, and the UK going downhill, I get more views than if I put something about happy days and such as me and what a lovely life and easy life it is to live. So I think there's just been a few things that have happened, and maybe they've all happened close together, and then it's big news about Thailand and the troublemakers, alcohol and women and places like that where these people go and congregate is going to cause arguments, such as Pattaya or Bangkok, various areas. When you put alcohol and women and older people into the fray, you stir the pot up, you're going to get some reaction at you. So I don't think it's Thailand. I think it's Thailand stamping down on it and making inroads to it. And let's face it, in the UK, if we'd have done that earlier days, we wouldn't have the trouble that we would be having now. You need to stamp on it early, and I think that's what Thailand's doing. So I can't blame them for doing that. They're putting their own house in order early. Maybe they've seen what's going on in the West and think we need to crack on with this before it gets too bad. So again, I can't blame them for that. I can't blame them for making the restrictions of coming into Thailand and maybe enforcing the rules a little bit more, if you like. Again, if we did that in England, we wouldn't have the same problems that we've got now. Our rules in the UK it's just pathetic. Basically, it doesn't matter how bad you are. If you land up on the shores of the UK, you're there to stay. And good guys in, bad guys out. That was a phrase used many times in Thailand. We should adopt that in the UK, good guys in, bad guys out, because we're certainly getting a lot more bad guys in than we get, and all the good guys are going. All the good guys are going out of the UK and taking the money with them. And let's face it, who blames them? Bill, hi Les, how are you doing? I'll be Rayong soon. Oh, well, pop in. You're always welcome to have a cup of coffee on the sofa, Bill. No problem whatsoever. Guaranteed views on videos that say I'm leaving the UK. Yeah, that is one of my biggest views of videos. it was when I visited the UK last year. My sister sadly was diagnosed with cancer, so I went there being the supportive brother and stayed there for 3 months. And I did regular talks when I walked down from my sister's house down into Redcar. And one of them, it was on about, returning to England after 14 years or so. 225,000 views that video has had. That quadrupled. My next highest one was about 90,000, and that was expat going broke in Thailand or something like that. So again, sad stories, but they get the views. But I don't want to concentrate. I don't do this for the views. Sad stories. The amount of sad stories that I've heard over here in the 13 years, I could write a book about it. But again, I don't dwell on the unhappy parts of it. There's good and there's bad, and I try to do a fair balanced. It does a fair balance of everything that I do. Bill Sims, click the like button. It helps the channel. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, for those people, if you like the channel, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, or if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. They all count when all's said and done. And if it's your opinion, I respect your opinion. I don't have many trolls, but I do have a few. I'll take constructive criticism. I don't delete anybody's comments off unless it's offensive. But YouTube have taken quite a few. People, be polite when you're writing on the comments and things like that, because YouTube they are the big brother. They look at everything. So if your comment has been deleted, it's not me because I've deleted it, unless it's offensive to me, which are very, very few are. But if you put some expletive words and things like that, then YouTube don't like it and they will take it off. Question from Billy Bob. Business in Pi want the tourist money. Both tourists and business owners should be more responsible, encourage all of this heavy drinking. Well, tourists and drinking and young people just go hand in hand, don't they? And so somebody else sort of said that, Billy, with regard to their comment. They want the money, they want the tourists, so you've got to be prepared to take a little bit of the crap that goes with it. But apparently this is an individual group of a certain ethnic minority group that, again, seem to think they can take over. Again, I'm not going to get into that type of thing, but when you've got 100 or 200 of these people from the same country and they're all of the same mind and they all think that they can take over a place, well, that goes the opposite direction, doesn't it? Let's face it, in my younger days, we've all had a bit too much to drink and we get into an altercation or an argument type of thing. We've all done it, we've all seen it, we've all been there, I think, at the end of the day. So in Thailand, it's different. Respect their country, it's their laws that you have to follow, whether they like it or whether they don't. They will show their authority and they will stamp down. And over here, you don't want to be in their Bangkok Hilton at all. So that's why crime for me is low in Thailand, because at the end of the day, the punishment is severe. Even in the holding cells and things like that, if you've been arrested for something, isn't a pleasant place to be. But again, hopefully, I'll never ever see inside of one of them. I'd love to be able to do a vlog on one of them to show people what it's like, but I don't want to be inside as a guest, if you like. Blah, 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 right. Thumbs down is not working. Oh, thumbs down isn't working. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Pineapples on pizza, yes or no? Yes. Jackson in Thailand. Afternoon, ladies. Hope you're all well. Yeah, thanks very much, Jackson. Everything is going fan-dabby-dozy. I had an interesting meeting this morning with a couple of guys who write magazines and do blogs and things like that. And it's just 2 hours with them. So I've already been talking for 2 hours. And now we're doing this, it's probably another 3 hours or so. So, yeah, time flies by, doesn't it? And it goes very, very quick. Sunday afternoon, one day just blends into another. I said I was going to do a vlog sort of every week, but in reality, I don't know where the time goes. So I think I'll probably keep it to once every 2 weeks. Yesterday, I mean, okay, well, let's start about some people who turn around and say, come to Thailand, they're bored. There's things you can do in Thailand. You know, you don't have to be bored all the time. I can honestly say I'm never, ever bored. I've always got something to do. And again, I do things in my house. I'm a bit of a DIY guy anyway, so that helps me. I like gardening, do my solar, do the water filtration stuff and things like that. And yesterday, I was at a cat sanctuary, and I'm going to do a video on it because I've been to Michelle's cat sanctuary in Rayong a few times, and basically I do 1 day a month helping her out, and I give her a donation every time I go as well to help the cats. She looks after about 91 cats, and there's a few of them sick at the minute, so her bills are going through the roof, you know, to help medication, take them to the vet and things like that. And she's got 5 dogs, and sadly she got a dog to sort of give it a bit of palliative care in its final days. It was just abandoned, and it was emaciated, and it was just like, oh, it was just sad to see. And she felt sorry for it, so she brought it back to her place to give it a final resting place, if you like. But it's picked up a little bit since she brought it back. But it's skinny. It was being beaten up by the other dogs, type of thing. She's got a heart of gold. So again, have a look at this video when it comes out. It'll be out in the next couple of days or so. And if you want to help, if you live in the Rayong area, she's very, very grateful for the help. You know, even if you can just go around and stroke the cats and stroke the dog, that's all that's needed. Just a bit of human contact and care and attention. It's brilliant. I go around and do some jobs that other people can't do. And as I say, yesterday I was painting it was a double gate that closes, and she wants, because that was all covered in rust, so I took all the rust as much as I could, repainted it. We're going to put some mesh on it because now we're coming to the warm season, so she can open the big double doors to allow a through draft through the house type of thing. So yeah, again, there's plenty of things to do to help other people out here in Thailand. You don't have to be bored. You don't have to become a bar stool warrior, things like that. You know, helping others is reward in itself, in my mind, anyway. All right. Question, not sure if you know the answer. My daughter was born in the UK to a Thai mother. Will it be easy for her to dual citizenship in Thailand and do that? I would have thought so, yeah. If she's born to a Thai lady, and the Thai lady is a genuine Thai lady, brought up in Thailand, got the ID card. Yes, I'm again not 100% sure with that because it's a bit of a peculiar question, but I can't see any reason why not. If your daughter was born to a Thai citizen, then she will get dual citizenship, no problem. So yeah, that was an interesting one. So yeah, best of luck with that. I would imagine there's a whole load of paperwork to go with that. It's like everything else in Thailand, paperwork. And again, as I say, we got our marriage visa. That was a whole lot of paperwork to go on, type of thing with that. And it's just the way it is. But it's never, ever, ever too difficult. They will never ask you for something that you won't be able to provide. It might be time consuming and things like that, and that's where agents play their part as well. So going back onto the visas with the agents, even agents are struggling to renew some people's visas at the minute. So it's a bit of a hot and sticky situation, I think, with some of the people, especially if your visa's up for renewal, because some of the agents may not be able to facilitate that at the minute. So as far as what you can do if your visa runs out the next week or 2 weeks, you're probably going to have to leave the country and come back on a tourist visa, wait for things to die down a little bit, and then go through the whole process again. But again, the people who know the best are the agents. So go back to the agent that you used to use. But my theory on all of this is that you can do all of this lot without an agent. You know, the income method, you have to spend money here every month anyway. So the income method is 65,000 baht a month. And if you put 65,000 baht into a bank account in Thailand, that's your income method. So there's no problem that you don't have to have 800,000 baht in the bank. Just use your money that you send over here every month, that you live on, that you spend, and that's your income method. So I believe that's still feasible at the minute. In Thailand, there used to be 2 or 3 different ways of getting a retirement visa. There used to be the 800,000 baht in the bank. That's still there and it's still up and running, but you have to have 800,000 baht in the bank. Now, the second one used to be like a joint where you could have 400,000, then have an income of 400. So like a joint or a combination visa where you could 400,000 in the bank and then 400,000, as long as it comes up to over to 800,000 baht a year. That was okay. Now apparently that's been stopped, but as far as I'm aware, the income method is still up and running. I've been told by a couple of subscribers that they went to the immigration office and the office said they want to see 800,000 baht into the bank account. They don't want to see any combination method. But as far as I'm aware, and I can't say 100% because although they all should sing from the same hymn sheet, they don't. But as far as I'm aware, the 65,000 baht income method is still available. You just have to show for 2 months before you apply for your retirement visa, 65,000 baht going into your bank account every month for 2 months. And that's the qualifying period before you get to your to get your retirement visa. Now that's not difficult to do. 65,000 baht a month coming into your bank account, and so I would say go down and see your immigration officer. They'll ask straight away for the 800,000 because they want to have 800, or they want Thailand to have your money in their banks type of thing. So I would say go and ask them and just say, I haven't got the 800,000 because I've got it tied up in property, blah, blah, blah. And when I have it, then I'll do that method. But in the meantime, can I start it off on the income method? So you just explain to them, and you know, when all said and done, they want your money over here. So the likelihood they may, because they have the authority to sort of get around this system, if you like. So it can be done. But there's only one person that can give you that answer, and that's the immigration officer in your location. So they are there to help you. They're not there to make life difficult. They are there to help you also. So give them a go. Billy just answered something on there, yeah. Hi Les, you're looking very well. Cheers, Julie and Vince. Okay, no, I'm looking well and feeling well. I'd like to visit and offer some of my time to the cat and dog home. That sounds very good. I go one day a month type of thing, and I'm there for like maybe 4 or 5 hours or something like that. She has helpex and workaway people there as well, so she has plenty of people who lend a hand type of thing, and it's great to see, because as I say, she's got a heart of gold and she uses an Australian pension to help look after these animals type of thing. So any help that she can get. So yeah, the next time I go, Jackson, it'll be in the next couple of weeks or something like that on a Saturday. So you're more than welcome to come with us, and she'd be grateful for the extra help. Again, as I say, it's just nice. On the video, the cats are just looking to see what I'm doing, and you know, all they want to do is be loved and petted and stroked, and I like cats and dogs anyway. So, so it's a pleasure to go and work there. It really, really is. Okay. How far from Rayong to Pattaya, Les? It is an hour and 20 minutes from Pattaya to Rayong. Well, to where I live anyway, but Rayong is quite a big province, so you can actually get to the center of Rayong from Pattaya in about an hour. But as I say, Rayong, again, I was talking to a couple of guys this morning, and they asked me why I moved to Rayong, and I've got to say it wasn't on my tourist map location either, because no tourists really come to Rayong. They come to Koh Samet, which is one of the most beautiful islands in Thailand, and it's beautiful. So many people come to Rayong just to get on the ferry and go to Koh Samet, have the 2 or 3 days there, and then just go somewhere else. And again, I came here for 2 weeks, 10 years or so ago, 11 years ago now, for 2 weeks holiday, and I've been here ever since. Such is it that I like it. And because it's not on the tourist location, prices of properties are cheap, food's cheap. Yeah, it's got some beautiful beaches. I'm 30 minutes away from Koh Samet. I've just done a video. Our landlady, she's got a number of houses for rent here, and I've just done a video on house rental, and it's a big 4-bedroom house, beautiful house, big gardens type of thing. And so have a look at it. You'll see what you get for 20,000 baht a month here. And for a 2 or 3 bedroom, you can get between 12 and 15,000 baht a month. But I said, have a look at that. And no matter where you live in Thailand, you can go and have a look at, house prices and that. And I've got to say, because it's not on the tourist map, it is a cheap place to live. And I sing its praises to everybody, and because it is a realistic place and it's full of nice people, if you like, because it's not tourism, you don't get ripped off. And I mean, the house that we're living here, I mean, this is our view from our veranda. The sun comes up over there, so I've got a sofa that I have behind me, and that's my view from my veranda. And when we rented this was 12,000 baht a month. So it's not in a big housing estate or something like that. It's a nice little house, easily maintainable, and the gardens and everything else like that. It's 12,000 baht a month. And there's other properties around here for about between 10 and 15,000. There's a 2-bedroom bungalow with a communal pool, that's 12,000 baht a month. And my friend has got a 3-bedroom detached house with its own swimming pool, and that's 22,000 baht a month. So this is what can you get in your home country for that type of money? You do need a car or a motorbike for transport. A friend of mine just moved in around the corner, and he's going to buy himself a little scooter, a little motorbike to scoot around type of thing. Although it's semi-rural, we're only 10 minutes away from a beautiful beach, and the things that Rayong has got to offer is by very, very cheap. Restaurants are cheap. Koh Samet is just like 30 minutes away. You won't make a mistake coming to Rayong. And we've got some other people coming to have a look at Rayong as well. Basically, every week I'm sort of meeting 1 or 2 people, and it's good to see. And I will show off Rayong because it's a beautiful place to live. So, 12,000 baht. It was a good deal. And now, as I say, we're buying the house that we rented for a number of years. We're buying. Let's have a look. So, like as I say, this is your chance to ask any questions what you want. No matter what questions. I've never failed in being able to answer somebody's question at the minute, because living here for 13 years, I know 1 or 2 things about it, and there's always a solution to any problem what there is about living here in Thailand. And if I can't answer the questions, then I'll just direct it to those people that can. And I've got sort of a wide circle of people that know things that even I don't know, such as lawyers, translators, visa agents, estate agents, and things like that. So yeah, I'm a mind of information, and I'm here for you. Like this is my community, the YouTube type thing. I love it when people communicate and send me messages, and it's sort of it gives me something to do. I've always been helpful. I've been in the fire brigade for 30 years, so it's in my blood helping other people out. And hopefully I can carry on doing it for as long as I can. Life's a beach, yeah. Hi, Les. Looking well, mate. Keep up the great videos coming. All the best from Hua Hin. Oh, I mean, Hua Hin is a lovely place. I like Hua Hin. It's a lovely place. I said I did a couple of videos on the assisted living down in Hua Hin. I think we may be going back to do another visit of Sunshine International, who've just opened up a really, really big complex, and that would be interesting to see. It's a touch on the expensive side in comparison to the other video that I've just done. Again, the interest is there. 32,000 views we've had of that video with regard to assisted living. And there are ways and means of being able to buy it, 24-hour nurse care. It's just a fascinating subject, and more people are looking into it, because let's face it, to see your golden years in a nursing home or a care home in the UK doesn't paint a pretty picture, does it? I went to Central Rayong this morning, first time. Couldn't believe the big multi-story car park was free. Yeah, everything's free, Jackson. Big. You park. I think you're allowed 4 hours in the multi-story car park, and it's quite a big shopping mall. It's got everything you want there. Christmas time is very good there, because they make a big effort for Christmas trees and big teddy bears and stuff like that. They always have something going on at the Central, and over the road in Big C as well. That's another great big. You can actually walk from Central Festival over the motorway, and there's a walkway, and you get it to Big C as well for shopping there. So yeah, I mean, Rayong itself, there's Lam Tong as well, which is another big shopping mall in the center of Rayong. That's good. Rayong is just like a massive long road full of shops and furniture shops, Index, Macros, DIY stores. It's got anything and everything that you want. I love it living here. I really do. I need to got the time. Yeah, somebody else selling Scott with a score about registering a child. Yeah, it is what it is. Now, some people ask me about schools and that around here as well. I can't. That's one of the questions I can't really answer, because we don't have any kids. But private schools are apparently quite expensive to send your kids to, but the education is better. Now, I'm a little bit controversial, something like that. I can't say the word. About schools education. You need maths and English, reading and writing. But the rest of it is just padded out with history, geography and stuff like that. I think I'm for the people who homeschool their children, and life skills are far better than any education you get, I think. And there's a couple of people I know that did the van lifers in the UK that homeschool their kids, and they travel around the world in a van. And I think that opens a lot more doors than the education that you get over here. And let's face it, when I travel the world, I learn more in the 2 years of traveling the world by talking to different people, and they give me guidance, and everybody has a story, and I learned so much about traveling and how you can travel almost for free, and loads and loads of different contacts. Travel open your eyes, that's for certain. When you've been stuck in a 9-to-5 job all the time, and then you do a bit of traveling, it opens your eyes. You think, why, I should have been doing this years and years and years ago. And my biggest thing to say to people, when you're on that final journey before you draw your last breath type of thing, and you're on your deathbed, you never hear anybody, I wish I could have had one more day at work. I wish I could have done another shift's overtime or something like that. It's always, I should have traveled more, should have done this, should have done that, should have done the other. Which comes on to another big subject I'm going to talk about, is when's the right time to retire. And the right time to retire is so you can have enough time to fill your head full of these memories, as about, I should have done this, should have done that, should have done the other. Do we make mistakes? Of course we all make mistakes, don't we? I was going to build a house in France. I had all the money to build a house in France. Well, maybe it's not all the money. I was a little bit short, but I would have got there in the end. And instead, we travel the world. And we traveled the world for 2 years. And the girl that I was with, who I eventually married, turned around and said, I don't want to travel the world anymore. I want to go back to England, working in the coffee shop. So the 2 years that we were going to work together and put the money back into the bank to build our house, it just never ever materialized. So was that a mistake? In my mind, no, it wasn't, because I would have had a nice house in France, but I wouldn't have been around the world. I wouldn't have seen the things that I've seen, and I wouldn't trade that in for the world. That was my open the doors of my way of thinking, of change of life type of thing, is that you meet some wonderful people. I've seen some beautiful places, but had I built the house, I would never, ever, ever been able to afford to do that. So it just opens your mind. Travel as much as you can. Question: have you any advice on getting the dengue vaccine? Never had dengue, and see the advert for the vaccines. Not yet in Thailand, so not sure if I should have it. I think that's a personal choice, the dengue fever. Dengue fever is here, without a doubt. There's a guy in Thailand. He does his own vlog type of thing, and sadly they both got dengue fever. And Richie in Thailand, and sadly his wife just had a couple of kids. I think they were about 11 months old, and sadly she died, or might have been 11 weeks old. I know that the kids were very, very young. 11 weeks, I think it was, and sadly she died of dengue fever, and he had dengue fever, but he survived. So yes, dengue is about. Mosquitoes are here, without a doubt. I'm fortunate in the fact that they don't particularly like me, the mosquitoes. I think maybe it's healthy eating mosquitoes over here. So to get to my blood, they've got to get through the fat, and they don't want to take the fat before they get to the blood. So in a nutshell, I do get bit by mosquitoes, yes I do, but I don't come up with a big sort of inflammations because you've been bitten by a mosquito. In fact, there's some places that we've been to, me and the wife, and she's been bitten by mosquitoes more than me. In one place, Koh Chang, we curtailed our holiday by a week because she was so badly bitten by the sandflies and the mosquitoes, and I didn't have a bite on me. So again, swings and roundabouts, really. I would say if you're coming to Thailand for a holiday type of thing, yes, get the dengue fever jab, the yellow fever jab, the hepatitis. Go to your doctor and just say, what do I need? We had all the injections before we went around the world. I think we had about half a dozen injections for various things, but we were going to India, we were going to, Australia, Vietnam and stuff like that, where all of these things exist. So take the advice of your doctor. It might cost you £50 to £100 or something, but I think if you're going to be doing some traveling, it's worthwhile taking what precautions you can get. Hi Les, is visa arrival still active for 2 weeks? Yeah, the visa on arrival is still going strong, 60 days, and then you can extend that by another 30 days. So you get 90 days here straight away, no problem whatsoever. So that's still as per normal. My voice is croaking up already because I've been already talking for 2 hours this morning. So yeah, that's still going. And again, in reality, for those people who are worried about the the retirement visa and something like that, if your visa's coming to an end, just do the visa on arrival. That gives you 90 days. So in 90 days, that's 3 months. That's a long time in Thailand. Things are going to alter within them 3 months. And even if it takes another 90 days, you're allowed to do a border run twice in 1 year. So 270 days you can have without hardly any trouble whatsoever. So, and in 270 days, things are going to get sorted out with bank accounts and visas and You know, here we are almost in March when your taxes are due, because last January, a year in January, they imposed this new tax thing, which still hasn't been resolved, by the way. And now the government are looking at again to re-alter the tax rules. Although they brought it in last year, they've never really imposed it. And all of the tax gurus that are in there and telling you, do this, do that, do the other, do nothing. Just wait until it happens, because it still hasn't happened yet. And the taxes are supposed to be due next month. So the government are looking at that, the tax situation again. Again, I don't do the videos on the tax because I'm not a tax expert. I've been told by two tax experts, two different scenarios. One said I'll pay money, the other one said I wouldn't. And these are the tax experts. So just wait until it comes out. It'll be big news when it eventually does come out, but it will come out eventually. And for me, Thailand at the minute are shooting themselves in the foot with the visas and the opening of the bank accounts, and you know what's in the taxes and stuff like that. They're doing a good job of sort of putting doubt in people's mind to live over here, spend money over here, or retire over here. So hopefully somebody will give the right person a jolt and say, listen, stop being making things difficult. Let's make things a little bit easier. Because when all said and done, they like the retirees, because the retirees are spending money here long term. Your bank account won't be suspended. Your internet banking may be blocked. I can maybe a little bit disagree with that. Your bank account. There's some people, or there's one person that I know that sent me a message the other day. He's had a bank account for 5 or 6 years, and he just puts the basic amount of money in it. And because there's no money going in and out of it all the time, they have frozen his account under investigation. But he kept the bank account open because one day he's going to come here and live here full time. But he just keeps putting a little bit of dribble amount of money in, like 2,000 or 3,000 baht, and just tops it up, because the Bangkok Bank does take money off you for an insurance policy and for their fees and running your account. So he puts a small amount of money in it. And because of that, they're looking upon his account as being very inactive and things like that. So they have frozen it. So now he has to give them various information as to, why he doesn't use the account and things like that. But it's just them being careful. Scams in Thailand at the minute are just everywhere. My wife got scammed out of 3,500 baht. That was on a video. She paid for a hotel on Facebook. So scams are everywhere. The Thai immigration have arrested loads of people in Pattaya, running like a big scam center up there. So they're cracking down on it, and I can't blame them. And sadly, it's these people that are causing misery for lots and lots of other people, the scammers. But the dust will settle, everything will get back to normal, and things will just go on. It's just a hiccup, it's a little glitch, and we can ride the storm out. And because it's still not going to be very difficult, is it? Even if tomorrow your visa finishes tomorrow, stop the visa, go out, come back the same day, and get a visa on arrival, 60 days, plus your 30-day extension. You're set for 90 days. 90 days, things could be sorted out. But if you can't do it in 90 days, add another 90 days on top of that. There's 180 days, isn't it? So that's almost 6 months. Things happen in a blink of an eye over here. So 6 months, everything's going to be sorted. So don't worry about it. Question is, hi, let's just got on a 60-day at the moment. I'm going to do a 1 month renewal myself at the end of my 60 days. Do you know what I need to take with me to the immigration? Yeah, just take your passport. That's all you need, a passport. And I think you have to fill in a TM7, which will give you at the immigration office. You'll be in and out in less than 15 minutes. It's not difficult at all for a 30-day extension. And that's 1,900 baht. So 2,000, about 50 quid. Not It's not bad, is it? And then after that one, I believe you can do one extension in Thailand, so you don't have to go out the country if it's your first 30 days. After that, you can do one in Thailand, I believe. But if not, there's plenty of agents that you'll be able to go to Cambodia and back in a day. That's like 3,000 or 4,000 baht. And then the whole process starts again. You get your 60 days, then you can extend that for another 30 days. Thailand is not a difficult place to retire. It has its ups and downs, but tell me what country doesn't have its up and downs with regard to immigration and things like that. Nobody likes immigration. Nobody likes going to various organizations and filling paperwork out. That's why agents make a lot of money, because people don't want to do that. I do it all myself. I don't use agents, and because I think if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. And I am the champion of directing people towards, there's everything that I say and I suggest to people, there's ways and means of getting around that system legally. I would never tell anybody to do anything illegally. And some of the ways that I suggest about getting your retirement visa are more legal than using a visa agent. And it's never going to cost you the same amount of money as what you're paying an agent. An agent does all the paperwork, waves his magic wand, and next thing you get your visa, which is good. And those people who don't like doing paperwork, use an agent. But there are other ways, and not difficult to do it yourself. And it's not hard. It's not rocket science. Right. Use a visa agent, 10,000 baht, Billy Bob. And now, okay, let's go on about the costs of visa agents and some things like that. 10,000 baht for a visa agent seems incredibly cheap. Now, that I send people to a visa agent, and I would never send anybody to a visa agent that I wouldn't trust myself. And I know a number of visa agents, but I send them all to the same one. I won't say the visa agent's name on here. If you want to know the visa agent, hang on, send me send me an email to this address, and I'll give you the visa agent that I send people to. He's honest, he's English, and he's sort of mid-price type thing. But I've never seen a visa agent doing it for 10,000. This guy, now before it used to be 29,000 to 30,000 baht for a visa and opening of a bank account. Now I also know other visa agents who charge 60,000 baht for doing this, and it's exactly the same visa, it's exactly the same bank account, but it's a different agent that does it. And it's the renewals that might cost you between 10 and 15,000, but the initial visa is always going to be the most expensive one, and that can be done, as I say, a number of visa agents. But I would say talk to other people, get recommendations, because there are again some visa agents that have scammed people and lost the money and their passports and things like that. So use a reputable. You might pay a little bit more, but trustworthiness and recommendations of other people are the way to go, that's for sure. And again, I send people to one guy, although I know a number of agents. This guy sort of is there's been no bad news about him, and he's helpful, and he's probably one of the cheapest as well. And I get no kickback from this. I get no commission from this. I just do it so I can help people along and send them in the right direction. He also does driver's licenses and things like that. So you can do a number of things. But even he's struggling at the minute to open bank accounts. But like I said, you know, if you are in that situation, just wait for 3 months or so and you'll get there in the end. Price in the UK completely. Getting a new passport. Yeah, I got a new passport when I went back to the UK, and that's my own personal reasons. I got it a year before it was due to run out because I went back to see my sister because she had being diagnosed with lung cancer. So I stayed there for 3 months. And I thought, I lost 1.5 years on my passport, but it was easier to do in the UK. You can get them done in Thailand, but it's probably twice the price. So if you're going back to England anyway, it just makes sense to renew it when you go back to England. But you can get a new passport over here, no problem. And that was for UK. Oh, 10,000 baht. I'll use a visa rate, 10,000 baht for a passport. Oh, okay, right. Sorry, I probably missed a little bit there. Restoration Archive. Good day, Les. That's an Australian good day. Good day. Oh, we've got 91 people in the house. I can't see how many thumbs up, but if anybody's just joined the conversation, give me a thumbs up. It all helps the YouTube algorithm. And I'm almost at 14,000 subscribers. I'm at 13,960. So I only need 40 more subscribers to get the magical figure of 14,000. So if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you like it, just subscribe. It costs you nothing, type of thing. And this channel will always be free. There's no membership fees to pay. There is no Patreon type of thing. There is no behind the scenes. If you want behind the scenes, just ask me for behind the scenes, and I'm like an open book. I tell everybody how it is. And I believe in freedom of information, so I will give the information out. It costs you nothing. I do have various things on my website, on my Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to buy me a coffee and help support the channel. And that's $3 for a cup of coffee. But within that shop also is, if you're going to buy me a cup of coffee, get something from it. You buy one of my ebooks, which is only $3, the same price as a cup of coffee. So have a look in the link below, and that gives, links to my keto diet books and my air fryer and moving to Thailand. And I'm going to be doing more ebooks type of things, more information, more appropriate information with regard to visas and things like that. So just keep an eye on that. It helps to support the channel, and we just go from there. But subscribing is very good, and thanks very much for those people who have subscribed. I'm almost 14,000 and loving it. And it's been a long time coming. 4 years I've been doing this, and hopefully the information that I get, everybody says I'm an honest guy, which I am, and the information that I get isn't full of BS, which it isn't. Honest, up to date, and I'm as honest as the day is long. And sometimes I can be a little bit blunt when people come and see me, and I tell them how it is, and I tell them how it works in Thailand, what red flags to look out for and things like that. And that's not being nasty, it's just making people aware of where they are, because there are many horror stories over here, and I've heard quite a few horror stories, and I just don't want people to make them mistakes. So people learn from others, and YouTube is a fantastic way of learning all of this information. So please feel free and ask any questions that you want, because no matter what the question is, no matter what it is, there's an answer to it, and I can give the answers. So yeah, your chance to ask any questions what you like. Doesn't matter what questions they are or how difficult they are, there's an answer to it. And I enjoy passing on the information, because I've had to learn a lot of this stuff myself from living over here for 13 years. And I was a newbie once, and I made the mistakes, and I see the people making the same mistakes. It's just like, just listen to what people have to say, I'll tell you one story, a quick story. One guy came over here, came round to my house, sat on the sofa, we had a cup of coffee, and he asked for because he'd never been to Thailand before. He'd been to the Philippines before, but he'd never been to Thailand. And I said, don't do this, don't do that, look for this, look for that, be careful of that. And he went down in the patio, and he rang me up a week later. He said, Les, he said, everything that you told me not to do, he said, I've done. Which comes on to people, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, or the Philippines. Now, I know people who've been to most of them places. I've been to Vietnam and I've been to Thailand, but I've never been to Cambodia, never been to Laos, and I've never been to the Philippines. But this guy who was in the Philippines who came to see me, he came to Thailand to have a look at Thailand, and he says the infrastructure and the internet and the hotel accommodation and the cleanliness of the place, Thailand beats the Philippines hands down. But the ladies in the Philippines, you can have a conversation with them, and their English is very, very good. But he said the squalor and the filth and the crime is beyond belief. So his ideal situation would be Thailand with the girls who could speak very good English. Then he said it would tick the places to be in the world. He says, because then you could communicate. And that's the problem that he had over here, communicating with the girls, is that lost in translation. He was having a conversation with one lady, and she had no idea what he was saying, but she was like shaking her head, and he thought she knew what he was saying, but in reality she just says, I don't know what you said. So Thais don't like to say no. That's one of the things that you have to get used to over here. Thailand is a melting pot, and you think of all the languages that are said over here. So that English is well spoken in all the tourist locations, but you go out in the sticks somewhere, you will have a difficult time. Now, I've just bought a book for reading Thai in 10 days. I'm on day 7 with it, and I've got about 5 pages into it, and already I'm just thinking this is very, very difficult. But I aim to be able to speak a lot more Thai by the end of this year, because I need to do it. I've become lazy because my wife speaks very, very good English. But I was embarrassed when I was at my wife's farm, and sadly her grandmother died. There was loads and loads of Thai people there, all wanted to have a little conversation with me, and it's just like I said all pleasantries like, hello, how are you? Hello, goodbye, and that was my limit of a conversation. So I sort of hid for a number of days in the house whilst all of these Thai, over 5 days. A Thai funeral goes on, celebration of life, for about 4 or 5 days. But the Thai language is very difficult to learn. So I take my hat off to those people who can speak Thai. There's the other one. Second bottle of water. We've been going on for an hour and 3 minutes now, and my voice is very dry. Right, okay, let's have a look. How was the air quality this month, lads? I think it's okay. Yes, we do get pollution down here, and sometimes it's a little bit hazy, but majority of the time it's not too bad. Now I've got emphysema. It's only mild emphysema, but it doesn't really affect me. Bangkok has had a lot of bad pollution over the past few weeks, and in fact, I remember Tim Newton from Tim Newton Today. I watch him because he does a daily blog on news in Thailand, and he does the air quality. And Bangkok was the 4th most polluted city in the world a couple of weeks or so ago. The 4th most polluted city in the world. Wow. And I think the other day it was about the 7th or 8th most polluted. So Bangkok suffers a lot from pollution. But where we are, a little bit further down the coast, I can't say it bothers me very much at all. We just have had something from the municipality saying that we're not allowed to burn rubbish and things like that in an effort to stop polluting the atmosphere and the air. We're not allowed to burn our rubbish. So our leaves, we have an area set out in the garden next door that we just let it rot, and the composts as opposed to setting fire to it. So yeah, I would say it's not too bad with regard to the pollution where I am. Les went to Cambodia in December. and definitely worth going to see. Such happy, friendly people, and it's half the price of Thailand. The only two places that everybody talks about, Sihanoukville and Siam Reap, and I've got to say, Sihanoukville, I think they've just been granted 70 more licenses for casinos or something like that. And the temples, I'm not really into temples, but we'll get there one day. But Cambodia, I fancy going to Laos. Laos is, spectacularly beautiful. And I've got to say, Paddy Doyle is one of the people that I watch, YouTubers. And he's been to Cambodia and Penang. He's been to Cambodia. He's been to Laos and things like that. So Laos definitely on my radar to go. We think that maybe he's going to Kuala Lumpur later on this year by train. There's a 21-hour train journey with a sleeper train going from Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur, and it's only £61 to travel in a sleeper train for 21 hours. That seems like fun to me. So that might be coming off this year. We've got a lot of things planned for this year. Christmas and New Year we're going to spend on the islands down in Phuket, because we did a lot this Christmas and New Year, and I maybe tried to fit too much in by going to Pai, Ban Rak Thai, back to Pai, Chiang Mai. We did 3,000 kilometers, over a monthly period, and it was a lot of driving, then doing all the touristy things. And I've got to say, it took it out of me as far as feeling tired is concerned, because once you've driven for 6 to 8 hours and then going at it again, doing the touristy things the day after, and then going back to driving again, there was sort of no relaxing time. So yeah, next year we're going to do the islands and see New Year's Eve in some beautiful tropical island down south somewhere. Fingers crossed anyway. Living here for 20 years does not make you an oracle. Just look it up. And like I said earlier, a friend of mine has already done it. Best of luck with you and your agent. I don't know quite about what that was going on. I must have missed something on the conversation. There's an English guy that does all the passport renewals for 5,000 baht. 5,000 baht seems fairly cheap, because I think it cost me 125 quid when I renewed my passport. I got 54 pages because we intend to do a lot of traveling over the next 10 years. So I got the biggest one, normally 34, I think, but I think I got 54. 5,000 baht seems incredibly cheap. Speaking Thai is quite easy, mate. I got jumped into the village with no farang, picked it up fast. I was only 34, so I was fine. I think it was older brain does not pick it up so much. There, that could be again if you're thrown in at the deep end, which you have by living in a village, you've got to learn it. And I agree. But everybody that's around here speaks English. And again, my wife speaks very, very good English. But even then, she said she probably understands 80% of everything that I say. So it's still not 100%, but you can have a full-blown conversation with my wife. She's very, very well spoken for English, and she's picked it up very well. Laos, after the last year, a lot of people don't want to consider that place. Again, I don't know. But I say life's an adventure. We can going down to Kuala Lumpur on the train. We want to go to Kuala Lumpur and we want to go to Penang. And there's one or two other places that we might be looking at as well. And it's cheap to get there. It's not expensive. But the time that we're going to do a lot more traveling is 18 months away when I get me state pension. When I get my state pension, then we're about another £500 or £600 a month disposable income, and we have enough money to live on my private pension, my fire brigade pension. So the state pension is just purely nutly for travel, and I think that's what people have got to do: travel, because travel broadens the mind. And when I pass, I want to owe the banks £1, so then I know I've had a good use of my income. There's a couple of guys that I know have the bank book full of zeros, but a head full of nothing because they haven't been anywhere, and all they've done is just squirrel the money away. And somebody else, when they pass, will be spending their inheritance and spending their money. For me, my wife gets sorted out because she's going to get my 5-year pension for life. We're buying this house that we're living in now, so financially wise, she's going to be okay. But my kids and anybody in England gets nothing, because at the end of the day, such is life. Things, my daughters haven't turned out to be the nicest people in the world, so why should I give them anything because of they're just not very nice people. I'm a nice person, always been a nice person, forgiveness and tolerance and things like that. And sadly, my 2 daughters haven't grown up that way. So their reward from me is nothing. But there's many other guys that I've spoken to are in the same boat. My girlfriend speaks very good English. The downside is that I don't need to learn Thai. Yeah, again, that's the downside of it. I've asked my wife, for treating me, and she keeps saying, no, it's not correct, it's not correct, it's not correct. I've got a monotone voice, so I can't do the tones up or down type of thing. And Thai is a very tonal language, but I'm going to give it a go. Hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be able to speak, well, I will be able to speak a lot better Thai than I did last year. But that's just me, learning is I like to learn new things all the time. Got to stay in Karat for 6 months. You will speak Isan and Thai fluently. Yeah, again, my wife comes from Karat, Isan, and I said to my wife, when we were at like my wife's farm, and the in-laws were there, and the grandmother and everybody wanted to speak, and I said, I feel shy and I feel embarrassed that I can't speak. She says, oh, don't worry. She said, because it's Isan. So that's different to Thai. So she said, even if you could speak Thai, she said, it would be difficult for you to communicate because they all speak Isan. So although speaking Thai, you think you can speak Thai anywhere in Thailand, it's not the case. My wife has ordered stuff in Phuket and the meals come different. She's ordered stuff in Ban Rak Thai in Thai, and it's come totally different as what she's ordered. So even the Thais sometimes can't speak Thai, throughout the whole country. It's the same in America. In the deep south, their English is totally different to the people who live in New York and Dallas and Texas and like that. Same in England. Geordie, I live 60 miles south of Newcastle. People say I've got a Geordie accent in comparison to the people who are living in Cornwall and Devon and things like that, and the Wirral. They speak English, but it's a totally different accent. And it's the same in Thai. So yeah, it's always going to be difficult. But again, I think technology will take over that. And the Google Translate is already good, but there's a slight delay. There's people I know who bought the earphones, came over here as newbies, bought the earphones, and they're in a drawer somewhere now, never ever to be used. And there was a few months ago, there was a number of YouTubers selling these machines, like, you speak Thai and they can speak Thai and it talks back to you Thai thing. But what they don't say is that you also needed a link between that and your phone, and it sort of talked to your phone and your phone translated it for them. But you needed this gadget. And again, that's about 300 or 400 quid. And I think within 5 years, the technology will be around that it will translate it word for word as they're speaking it. And you'll be able to speak the same things without transferring over from Thai to English, English to Thai or whatever. So technology will be there in maybe 4 or 5 years' time. It's getting there now because Google Translate is very, very good. You just take a photograph of a menu or take a photograph of some Thai writing, and the translation's very, very good. And again, you record somebody else's voice. It might take a little bit of time, but it can be done. So technology's there, so why not use the technology? Okay. Let's have a look, see what's on there, see what I've missed. Last year, yeah. Okay, so what else to talk about? Okay, I'm going to do a review on my motorbike. I've had my Honda Click 160 for a year now. That's been really, really good. I've got no complaints about it whatsoever. It's still a beautiful bike. It drives very, very well. Again, the review is just going to be all singing and dancing, just to say it's a fantastic bike. There are other bikes, without the ABS, which is slightly cheaper. And again, a friend of mine who's just moved in was asking the advice about it. And he drives very, very slow. And I would say if you want to save yourself 6,000 to 9,000 baht, then buy the bike without the ABS, the 150 or the 160. It's just for getting them around the town and the local town and shopping and things like that. And if you're going to save yourself a few bob, then it works. I bought the ABS at the time because I thought I want all the bells and whistles, and but in reality, we don't drive very fast, and I think we've done 2,000 kilometers on it in a year. We just usually go down to 7-Elevens or the local shop, or if there's a festival on or something like that in Banpei or Lime Pim, it's easier to park the motorbike than to park the car. So we'll just take the motorbike up and we'll park it. It is just for pottering around. It's not for long distances and things like that. If you want long distance motorcycling, then I would say go up to the Forza 350s and things like that. But for just general pottering around every day from A to B, 125s are strong enough, but 150, 160s have got a little bit more clout to it, and it just go forever, and they're so repairable. Not that I had a 125 and I had it for 9 years and not one single thing went wrong with it. It was brilliant. I changed the spark plug once, changed the tires, and that was it. And it's the same with the 160. I had it serviced at 1,000 kilometers. It cost me 180 baht, which is about a fiver, something like that. So it's just the go forever on a litre of fuel. Motorbike, I mean, especially where I live here, we're sort of semi-remote, but it's only 5 or 6 minutes drive to the beach. And so for us, when me and the wife go out, we used to go all over the place on the motorbike in our early days, but now we sort of sticking to the car and going out in the car, and we just use the motorbike going from A to B. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Dave. We only have to go from the Borough to Gisborough and the lingo changes. Yeah. Dave's a guy lives in England, and I always meet up with Dave once we go back to the UK. How was the camper van going, Dave? I've seen your picture. It looks very good. Looks very, very good. I hope you get many, many years out of it. But it looks a good van. I missed the who are the birds? Who are the birds? Les got the motorbike, Hell's Angel. Yeah. I used in my younger days when I was 17 and I was a member of the motorbikers on the seafront outside the Wimpeys in Redcar. And I had a Suzuki Hustler 250. And I had a denim jacket with all the studs and the Suzuki wings on the back of it with all the studs in it and everything. I did all of that lot. And again, I looked up on the guys who had the Kawasaki 1000s and 1300 cc's, and I'm thinking, one day I'll get one of them. One day I'll get one of them. And then my Suzuki Hustler, the accelerator cable broke. So my dad lent me his little Honda 125. And I was doing a little bit of overtime at work, and so I had like half an hour off before I did me extra couple of hours work. So I brought my dad his newspaper, and I had a quick bite sandwich, and I was going back to work, and I was doing about 30 miles an hour along West Egg Road, and a Reliant Robin turned in front of me, and he was a drunk. He'd been drinking all afternoon, so he was absolutely paralytic. He turned in front of me, I hit the car, ended up in the ambulance, and was in hospital for a week. Suspected fractured skull, broken leg, but as it was, no fractured skull and no broken leg. But I never ever rode a motorbike again from the age of 17-year-old until I came to Thailand at 53. And then I bought a motorbike, little scooter, and I've never looked back. So yeah, a big motorbike accident when I was 17, never rode a motorbike until I came to Thailand, and then to learn or to ride a motorbike again in Pattaya takes some doing. But yeah, just if you go slow, you know, motorbikes, the majority of accidents that happen in Thailand are motorbike related, and people with no helmets on and things like that, drinking and driving. It happens over here. So, you know, wear a helmet, at least wear a helmet. Hi Les, can you recommend a hotel to stay in Rayong for a week, coming to Thailand for a month in July and looking for a place to explore? Yeah, Rayong, I would say have a look at Stories. Stories is a nice hotel, and also the Barong. Barong's a nice place. Stories, the rooms are very nice, the breakfasts are very good, and they're about 1,000 baht a night, and it's got a swimming pool as well, and it's sort of in the centre-ish, or just on the outskirts of Ban Phe. So you can walk to the ferries from there to catch the ferry over to Koh Samet. So I would say do Stories for a couple of days, go to Koh Samet for a couple of days, then back to Stories, and that'll give you some sort of base. But yeah, Stories or the Barong Resort in Ban Phe. High on a retirement, can you retire in Thailand for 90k or £600 a month? £600 a month is very on the lean side. I wouldn't say it's impossible to do, but it would be just sort of an existence over here. But it'd probably be a bit more of an existence over here than it would be in the UK. I would say that the sweet spot for over here in Thailand is 50. If you've got £1,500 a month to live on, you can live a good lifestyle on £1,500 a month. But if you have £1,000 a month, it's still possible. And I've done a few videos living on the state pension, which is about 800 quid a month. You can live on £800 a month over here. So yes, it is possible, but you've got the sunshine. The guy that I use as an example, he's on his state pension, £800 a month. He's a sociable guy, so he's in the bars most nights, and he has a bit of adult entertainment every Saturday, if you know what I mean. And he's on the state pension, and I'm sure he wouldn't get any adult entertainment at his age in the Derby and Joan Club back in sunny England. So it can be done. But again, it depends what you're after. You can get accommodation here as cheap as 3,000, which is like 70 or 80 pounds a month, you know, overlooking the beach. So it is possible, but it all depends what you like. You know, if you want to stay in all the time, then, you know, if you want to live a social life, £600 I would say is skimping it too much. Anthony, hello, hi, Les, just joining you. Welcome to the channel. We've got 94 in the house at the minute. Thanks very much. And for those people who've just joined, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Be brilliant. It all helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. I'm almost at 14,000. I've got 13,960. So we're almost at 14,000. It's good, Les, should be getting out next weekend to give it a first run out. Just been doing another few jobs, getting familiar with the electrics, heaters, and so it looked immaculate. I mean, for those people who don't know, my friend Dave has just bought a motorhome in the UK, and I met a few van lifers in the UK and people who live in vans full time. And again, I had a guy, Trace, who's become a friend. He lived in a van for 2 years. He's living over in the Philippines now. He's came over to Thailand for a little while, and he's back over the Philippines now, and he's back to the UK in April. And he's going to make the decision whether he's going to carry on living in a van or whether he's going to come to Thailand or he's going to come to the Philippines. So big decisions for him to make. Alice, just joining you, ask what is the update on the opening of a bank account in Thailand? Was news in the week, cancelling foreigners opening accounts, local banks for the retirement visa. Yeah, I mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the stream. It's still the same at the minute. There's a lot of people washing money, if you like, here in Thailand. So they are cracking down on them. Any accounts that look a little bit dodgy have been frozen or suspended pending further investigations. So basically they cast the net out to catch all the dodgy people, but sadly that the net catches the small fish as well. And normal everyday people, it's the people who sort of like as the seedy people have spoiled it for a lot of other people. So I would say don't worry about it, things like that. And the biggest fear for some people that they can't get the retirement visa and something like that because they can't open the bank account. It's a bit of like a chicken and egg situation. If you can't get a visa, you can't open your bank account. If you can't open a bank account, you can't open your visa. So the dust will settle. It may take like a month or 2 months to settle down everything again. But I think what's going to happen is that when the dust does settle, you'll find that the prices of the agents will go up because they'll say, oh, it's a little bit more difficult for this, a little bit more difficult for that. Maybe changing the size of the brown envelopes has got a lot to do with it as well. But it will be resolved, it will be sorted out, but it may take a month or two. So if it's going to take a month or two, I would say just get your retirement visa or visa on entry. You get your 60 days plus your 30 days extension, so that's 90 days. A lot of things can happen in Thailand over 90 days. So let's double that, 180 days, almost 6 months. Certainly a lot of things will happen over the 6 month period. So just go with the flow. Keep an eye on the news because when it does get resolved, it will be sort of big news over in Thailand. And I'm sure all the agents will be advertising, saying, we can do this for you now, we can do that, and we can do the others. But also expect that the brown envelope sizes are going to be a little bit bigger than what they were before all of this lot happened. But it's still possible to obtain your visas yourself without using an agent, and there are ways of means of doing it, and it is also very possible, and it's not too difficult to do. Right. Oh, thanks, Dave, for joining. Yeah, go now. Thanks very much for watching, and good luck with your first day out with the motorhome. Best wishes, mate. How is the flu situation in Thailand? I believe in Bangkok and a few other places. Yeah, I had the flu. My wife came back from Karat with an incessant cough, which she'd had for a month, and she had the flu. And normally I'm quite resilient with the flu. I don't suffer flus very, very often, but this one, it put me in bed for 3 days. I was so ill, just lethargic, didn't want to get up. I didn't have the cough like my wife had, but just lethargic and just hot and sweaty and in bed for 3 days. It was a horrible, horrible feeling. Whether it was COVID or whether it was flu, I have no idea because I never got the checks. And within a week or so, everything was gone. And then I got gout. So I had gout in my foot, which lasted another 4 or 5 days. So I was feeling sorry for myself for about almost a fortnight with having the flu, then the gout. It's only the third time I've had gout in my whole life, but boy, when that the gout, it sort of hits your left foot, big toe, and it stops you from walking. Again, I was in bed for another couple of days because I couldn't bear to put the weight on my foot. So yeah, this year 2025 hasn't been a really good year for starting there. Sadly, the grandmother died, and then I had the flu, then I had the gout, and now we're sort of halfway through February. Everything's okay now. I can't complain. The gout is gone, the flu's gone, getting back to normal, and looking forward to planning all the events for this year. Songkran this year, which is in April, we're going to go down to Bangkok, spend a couple of days in Bangkok. We were both ill Valentine's. Me and the wife were both ill Valentine's Day, so our Valentine's meal was a 7-Eleven burger. We went down, got a 7-Eleven burger and a cake, and ate it at home, and that was our Valentine's evening together. So we're going to make up for that next week. We're going to go to, because Ploy's feeling okay now, I'm feeling much better now. So we're going to go to Koh Samet for 1 or 2 nights next week, and it's our belated Valentine's trip together. So it's we only live 30 minutes away from Koh Samet, and it's a beautiful place. So that's where we're going to go for our Koh Samet Valentine's late evening type of thing. So yeah, I've had the flu. Ploy's had the flu. She was ill for maybe it's a week or so. She sort of suffered worse than me. But she had this incessant cough. It just took a month to get rid of it. And but now we're all fine and dandy now. I think it's like everywhere else. Flu, there's a virus that's going around. Everybody's saying there's another pandemic coming from China. Let's see what happens. Let's have a look. Gordon Young, good morning, Gordon. Are you still cat sitting in France, or have you returned home now? Who's is the virus protection? Let's have a look. Switch that off. Whose is the house behind you? Apparently, it belongs to a German guy. We've been in this house now for 8 years or so, and I've never seen the German guy come. He had a cleaner who used to clean up, cut all the hedges and stuff like that. She had a big argument with her boyfriend and split up, so she lives in the house now, but she works during the day. She just stays there in the night time, and she takes care of the house. So it belongs to a German, but that's as much as I know about it. But it's a lovely house, quite a big garden, and it overlooks there's like a lake next door to it as well. Beautiful house, but never see the owner. Hi Les, please can you give me, what do you want me to give you? Tony Heyman, question. Hi Les, please can you give me, what do you want me to give you? Les, can you take pills for gout? Yes, you can. My father-in-law, he suffers from gout, and he's got lots of medication because he gets it every couple of months or so. It's just like recurring. As soon as it goes, it starts creeping on again. So he had a number of tablets, so he gave me them tablets. And I've got to say, as soon as you feel it coming on, take the tablets, and it doesn't go to the full-blown gout as it has if you don't take the tablets. So yeah, I've got one packet. It's about a week's worth of tablets. We're going to go to the pharmacy and we're going to get some spares. So I think now, because I've got the gout, it comes, and it's always going to come at various, because I'm getting old. It's that old thing. But it's not a pleasant thing, when you can't walk on your foot, it's horrible. Hi Les, please can you give me phone number and address details of your agent? I can do, yes. I will put my email address on there. If you send me, I don't do it over the air for obvious reasons. So if you just send me an email, Tony, and I'll I'll give you the agent's details. He's in Pattaya on the dark side, so he's easy to get to. He speaks English, so no problem with that. But he does all sorts of things. But at the minute, he's struggling to open bank accounts up and that as well. So he's sort of, any agent is struggling at the minute. But I think within a month, 6 weeks or so, everything will calm down, everything will get back to normal. But I fear it's just going to cost a little bit more money to get the information that you want, or to get the answers that you want. So send me an email and I'll answer. If not today, it'll be tomorrow, because usually once I finish with this, the TV goes on, and I'll just sit and vegetate, watching, see what's happening, going around the world at the minute. And by goodness, what a horrible place the world has become at the minute, isn't it? With all the fighting, with all the political upheaval, what's going on in America and in the UK. I mean, I know more about the UK, what's going on, because I used to live in the UK. And Stammer, wow, you know, I've got to say Trump is very positive, and all these people that he's got working for him, all positive, upbeat. Whether they're saying the right things or not, that's another thing, but they say it with positivity, unlike Stammer in the UK and Rachel Reeves and everybody else who like talks down about England. Oh, it's such a bad place, you're going to be taxed, you're going to be this, there's no good times, you know. And there isn't any good times, you know. I keep asking people, tell me one good thing that's happened in the UK in the last 15 years. Just give me one good thing, and nobody can give me a good thing that's happened in the UK. It's just so depressing, and but that drives everything else down as well. You know, nobody wants to invest in the UK because it's downbeat, and taxes and things like that. There's more good people leaving the UK than is coming in the UK. The incessant people coming to live in the UK, £40,000 per year to look after every single person that comes to the UK. You know, whether they do it illegally or legally, £40,000 for every single individual, and they're arriving hundreds and hundreds every month. We can't sustain that. We can't help the whole world, can we? So I think in some ways we need somebody as strong as Trump for saying, like, okay, draw the line at it, stop it, send everybody back. You know, the Court of Human Rights things type of thing. And again, when he hears the stories, oh, we can't deport him because he doesn't like his chicken nuggets back in his home country. And we can't deport you because of the heinous crime that you committed over here. You'd have a bad life going in your home country if we deported you. So we'll keep our children at risk, and we'll keep you over here. What? In Thailand, if I did anything wrong, I'd be put in jail. I'd be deported from this country. The laws are strict over here for such things, and it's how they should be in every country. We should decide who stays and who doesn't stay. And I don't care if you've come from a war-torn country type of thing. Follow the rules, obey the rules, do it legally. There are plenty of other countries that you can go to without making your way to the UK. It's just keep your nose clean, be a nice person. But sadly, we're letting in all of the wrong people in the UK. I said I was going to do a video on this, and I probably will do a video because I've got a lot of things and a lot of thoughts on how this can be improved, and the fact that people should stand up to all of this lot. The government are there to serve the people, and they're not listening to what the people are saying. They're lying on the CVs. Rachel from accounts. I worked as an economist in the Bank of England for 10 years. No, you didn't. You worked for 5.5 years. The guy who said, I forget, not education minister. I forget which zone he's in now, but he said he was a solicitor, and he wasn't, and that's against so many rules. And he was told to alter his CV, to alter his LinkedIn accounts because he's actually been untruthful. And he even mentioned in the Houses of Parliament that when he used to work in Manchester, he was a solicitor. He was never a solicitor. He was a trainee solicitor, but he just gave the false impression. These people are running the country. And I know if I embellish my CV and I got a job under false, falsehood type thing, I'd be sacked. But yet in the government now it's like, oh, well, yeah, it was a stroke of the pen. No, because they had video evidence to say he stood up in the Houses of Parliament and said, I was a solicitor when I worked as a solicitor. That's not a stroke of the pen, is it? They are lying horrendously, and we don't need people like that. Trust is built, and Starmer said he's going to come into the country and the adults are back in the building now, and he's going to get rid of all of this political sleaze, and if anything, the worse than the Tories. But that's me going on a rant, sorry. Okay, I'll stop that bit, because I could go on for hours and hours. I could do a 4-hour video on this and just go through the crime and all the statistics, and it's not good, is it? Stammer, he related to, yeah. Is that an Indian agent? I must be having a conversation. We have Prime Minister in New Zealand, Chris naproxen for gout works, Les. Yeah, I forget what it's called, but it's very, very small writing, but that works pretty well. Trump is a businessman. Stammer is a establishment. Figure it out for yourself. Yeah. Again, I mean, at least whether you like him or hate him with Trump, he's saying what the people want to hear. I mean, some of the corruption that's been going on, and it's just like, why haven't they seen this? Why haven't the people, the bean counters, seen this? I think there was somebody at 240 years old was still getting his Social Security. He said something like 100 years longer than America's been around, and he's still getting his Social Security. Thousands and thousands of people are still getting the Social Security payment, and they've been dead for years. Yeah, these things happen, but why haven't the bean counters? I know with England, if your pension stops or whatever, and I've said this to my wife, and this is another one for those people that are living in Thailand or are married in Thailand, tell your wife or your partner that one day that money will stop. And I've told my wife, and I've given her the telephone numbers, who to ring, that they will stop it every now and then to see whether their circumstances have changed, something like that. And it's the same as me as well. When I'm claiming my pension, every now and then it'll stop, because they just want to confirm that you're still alive. And there's certain things that you've got to do to prove that you're either still alive or you've passed away. And so that happens in England. Why doesn't it happen in America? Proof of life forms. Millions and millions and millions are getting overpaid. And it's the same in England. The Department of Work and Pension said they've paid out so much money to people that have died and passed away, but they'll never, ever get it back. Why won't they get it back? There's got to be, the money that's getting wasted, overseas aid. We're sending millions of dollars or millions of pounds in overseas aid. Why can't we help our own people out first? Stammer's turned around and said we're going to put 30,000 troops in Ukraine. We can't defend our own borders without defending Ukraine's borders. So start at home first. Charity begins at home, and we need money spending on our people. So there's a lot of things wrong with the UK that need to be fixed. And we probably need a few people like Elon Musk, who's taken the bit by the, bull by the horns, and he's going to shake up a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people going to go to court for corruption and things like that. I think it's the same in any Western country. The corruption is just phenomenal, and people have just got away with it. The PPE scandal, where she got £60 million. That hasn't been resolved yet. How long has that been going on? She's had the 60 million, it's been spent, and it's all the PPE still being stored in a storeroom somewhere that the taxpayers are paying £1 million a year to store it, and it's useless. The furlough scheme, £40 billion or something, have been wrote off because, you know, through corruption, it's going to cost too much to try and get that back. Crazy. Pay me like, you know, £10,000 a year, and I'll look at all of this stuff. You know, I'll just do it in my spare time. There you go, Mr. Stammer. Pay me £10,000 a month, and I'll look into all of this, and I'll spend all my time looking into it, and I'll do a good job of it. Martin Banner, the one they pulled that stopped from deported is to claim they're gay, yeah, and would be a danger going back to that. There's so many things. See, you're gay, and all the lefty lawyers that are coming up with these. If you say this, they'll stop you from doing that. They are the bigger criminals, aren't they? You know, I don't blame any guy or anybody from seeking a better life. Go and do it. This is what I'm doing. I'm living here. I'm living a better life in Thailand than I could do in the UK. But I have to follow the rules. I have to stick to the system. I do everything legally, because if I didn't do anything legal, if I didn't do it legally, I'd be put in jail or I'd be deported. Some of these people that are coming over to the UK are doing everything illegally, and they're still getting told they can stay in the UK. Tell them that you convert to Christianity. Tell them that you're gay. Tell them that this. Tell them that. Tell them that you deserve a family life and that. And it's just like, you're just lying. You're just lying and getting away with it. And that should be stopped. But the lefty lawyers who are getting paid a crap load of money, I hate lawyers anyway. Lawyers are crooks with certificates. They're just bending the system. They found the loophole, and everybody else is using the loophole. And the taxpayers paying for the lawyers, paying for the court's time, paying for them to live in, you know, luxury type of thing. When we have our homeless on the streets type of thing, we get nothing. They're getting treated to car, learning how to drive a car, yoga lessons, Pilates lessons, free phones, free accommodation, free food, you know, 3 square meals a day, and they're still complaining about it. But I don't blame them for doing it. If we're stupid enough to give them it all, well, then take advantage of it. And it's our country that's to blame. But the members of the public who are complaining about it are unheard of. The government can't hear the complaints, you know, because their snouts are in the trough, feeding all their mates, you know, the money to defend them. The cost of translation. In here, if I want something translating, I have to pay for a translator to make people understand my situation, what I need translated. In the UK, it's paid for free, and translators aren't very cheap at all, are they? So there's a whole load of things wrong with the UK. I don't blame anybody for abandoning the UK. For me, look outside of the box, find a better place to live, and where your money goes further, and you don't have the frustration of everything that's going on in the UK. Highlights 68 disabled in a static and spine pain. I much like it in cooler in Thailand and need a caregiver for only a few hours a day, part-time, who can massage my spine. Any ideas? But yeah, if you have a look at the care assistants in the patio region, I don't know whereabouts you live, but there are caregivers, and there are you can hire a fully qualified nurse here for 40,000 baht, 40,000 baht a month, and they would live with you there for 24 hours. If you want a care assistant for like 8 hours a day, you can get that for 15 to 20,000 baht for 8 hours a day. So basically, if you just Google it for nurses or care assistants, there'll be some results, and they're all over Thailand type of thing. But again, like a care assistant, you can get there for like 10 to 15,000 baht a month. So yeah, it's out there, mate. I would look upon it and just go from there. Leslie looked much better and more healthy with the weight loss. Yeah, again, I'm still 104 kilos at the minute. I put 2 kilo on whilst I was away on holiday, which I'm more than happy at because 2 kilos isn't a lot, is it? And I will be going back on the keto in maybe it's March, beginning of March, because we're going to Corsomet next week, and then March will be upon us, and I want to get back down to about 100 kilo for when we go to Bangkok for the Songkran, which is in April. So I can do that, lose 4 or 5 kilos before we go to Bangkok in April. It's not so bad now that I'm, hovering around between 100 and 105. I feel much better in myself. I mean, my heaviest was 118 kilos, and I was like the honey monster. But, you do feel better when the weight is gone, that's for sure. You can get help, challenge gamer in Thailand. Yeah, help is available no matter where you are in Thailand. Trump winning back the presidency is a win for freedom-loving people of the world. Elon buying Twitter and the free speech from the hard left. I think there's the new world order. How many times have we heard that about the most powerful people in the world are running the world, and the government and everybody else is puppets on a string. So they've lost touch, for me, the world. All of the people that are running everything have lost touch with the normal, everyday working people. They're all in it for themselves. The snouts are in the trough. It's me, 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 me. And ultimately, it's the poor working class people who pay for everything. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. But the people who complain about it the most don't get listened to. I found that out when I did a course at 18-year-old, and it was a sort of a full day program, and that showed us, and I've never ever forget that day, and it showed me exactly what's happening now, in 2025, and it was exactly the same as the program that I went in, and people were arguing, people were shouting at each other, and it was a almost fisticuffy type of thing, but it was a whole day event, and it was shown how the world works, and it's even worse now than it was back in them days. And sadly to say, in reality, the wealthy people are going to shaft the working class every single opportunity that they get, because they don't see what's going on in the world. I'm just only fools and a buffalo Thailand. I like that. That's a good one. I've just retired. I'm getting ready for the exit in September. Good for you. Well done. And long may your retirement be happy and healthy, and enjoy it. How's the weather there, Les? The cooler weather didn't last long. Where am I? Bit of a breeze, and that is it. Yeah, it's getting hot and sticky now, that's for sure. It's getting hot. I've got the fan here, and I've never had the fan on here for 3 or 4 months, but I've got the fan blowing in the background now just for cool. So yeah, the fans on are every day now. We have the fans on in the bedrooms on a night time, just to keep cool. And it's for 3 months, hot and sticky, where the humidity is very, very high. And I've been here for like 13 years, but you sort of do get used to it. It's uncomfortable, but I'd sooner sit in front of a fan than sit in front of an electric fire or a radiator back in the UK. And it's only for 3 or 4 months. And then once the rainy season comes, everything cools down again. And then you start that slope again. The cloud and the rain brings the cooler weather. Then winter time comes and it's nice. It's beautiful weather, like November, December, January, and then the hot season. So you take the rough with the smooth. Sit in front, sitting with an air conditioning unit on and a fan is much more preferable than putting a woolly jumper on and feeling warm with a blanket or a duvet, my electricity bill here is still 16 quid a month. Never ever been more than £20 a month, the electricity bill. I'd pay that a week if I was back in the UK. I spent a lot of time in Thailand from 99 to 2013. Lived in Soy, Asia. On the hill was good. Yeah, again, I came to Thailand a number of times before I eventually pulled the trigger and moved over here. Again, that's another big story. That's why my Chinese wife, and we traveled around the world for 2 years. She decided that she didn't want to travel. She said, I'm sick of living out of a suitcase. So she decided on Boxing Day, we had a big argument. She said I was going to divorce on New Year's Day because we met on a New Year's. So I just thought it was fitting to divorce her on a New Year's Eve. I said, oh, well, thanks for telling me. So long story short, I left, got all the clothes from Southampton, dropped all the clothes, went back to Southampton, handed the keys back in, was on an airplane, and I landed in Thailand New Year's Eve. And I've never looked back since then. And so, yeah, New Year's Eve, I moved to Thailand, and I've never looked back, and I've been here ever since. Was it my place to live in the world? No, because we were looking, building a house in France because I was with a partner, and but she didn't even want to do that either. So, you know, things change in your lifestyle thing, just adapt. And when all's said and done, take care of you. It's you, I think, who makes all the decisions. Don't you live your life for other people, live your life for you, because it's you that matters when all's said and done. And if it makes doing your decisions, if it makes you happy, then do that. If it makes other people unhappy, well, it's their loss, isn't it? But just don't be selfish and me. You've got to think of others as well, as I did. But then sometimes that comes back and backfires you. And, you know, we spent £45,000 on 2 years travel around the world. And all my wife's contributions to that was $1,800. She bought a round the world ticket, and that was it. And I paid for everything else. So she had a fantastic 2 years. But am I bitter? Am I angry over that? No, I'm not. It was a part of life. It wasn't all bad, but I spent a lot of money. And, you know, life changes type of thing, but you can't cry over spilt milk. You just make the best of what you've done and move forward on that, and then just, you know, go a different path, different direction. And that's what I'd say to anybody that's going through heartache at the minute, through relationship breakup, or the job's crap and they're just retired, they're looking for things to do, places to go. Reassess your life, look what you want out of life, and then tick all of them boxes, do your research, and then move forward and move to the life that you want to live. Again, I live here. At the minute, there's probably nowhere else in the world I'd like to live, because this is just lovely. I would ask you to watch The Four Horsemen. That's what's happening. Yeah, somebody else mentioned that. I must do that. I'll have a look. I'll Google it and see what happens. Hi, Les. Read reports of Israel's behaving badly in Pi. Did you see? Yeah, I watched that on a video this morning. So I think, yeah. Again, it's not just the Israelis. It's the Ruskies. It's the Chinese. And I think that there's a bit of bad behavior going on at the minute. So it sort of makes the news, doesn't it? Farang travels, no more bank accounts for foreigners. I don't believe that at all. There's no more bank accounts for the near future. But let's face it, if they stop the bank accounts, they can't get the retirement visa. And if you can't get the retirement visa, it loses income, doesn't it? So all it's going to do is drive people away to a different country. And when all's said and done, people want the money over here in Thailand. It's another blip like it was a few years ago, and bank accounts will be available, but there might be stronger restrictions on who they give it to, or that they might have restrictions on it. So I don't believe that the bank accounts are gone for good, because it's impossible. Gone Young certainly is. We are the Bangkok bound on Wednesday and can't wait for the heat. Oh, so you come to Bangkok, Gordon? Oh, on Wednesday. Oh, you'll have to let me know because we might come down and see you. Are you just staying in Bangkok or whereabouts are you going? And if we can manage to meet up for a beer or two, we'll meet up for a beer or two. But I can't think of where they do Palmos here. Have a safe trip, Gordon, and welcome to Thailand. Morning, Les. Blowing a hoolie and peeing it down on the Isle of Man. Well, raining and it's the Isle of Man. I mean, with this global warming, where's all the rain coming from? Global warming. When I was over there in summer last year, July, 12 days. I landed on the 5th of July. Funny enough, when Labour government got in, 12 days before the sun came out. It was cloudy and miserable for all them 12 days. It was horrible. So rain, it makes the grass grow. I'm going to Pattaya, then Chiang Rai, then Pai, then Pattaya for my birthday at Markpa. I like to visit Bang Saray as well. Birthday in Pattaya. Oh, I couldn't think of a better place. I had my 55th birthday party in Pattaya, and it was one of them birthdays to remember. Me and my friend, we had our joint 55th birthday party in Pattaya, and we loved it. And I'm a strong advocate of doing what you can whilst you can, because my friend, Australian guy, same age as me, now he's 64, he's got dementia, and he doesn't know what happened yesterday. He's forgot all about his 55th birthday party. He has no recollection or memory of that whatsoever. He lives a Groundhog Day, that every day is the same, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and with the same age. So sometimes other people's lifestyles makes a big reflection on yours to do what you need to go and do. It's sad to see him every time I go around there. Sometimes he thinks I'm just a guest who stays at his guest house, and of course I remember you, Les. He said, when I say I'm Les, I'm one of your best mates. So how sad that life can change into that. So you never know when that's going to come. So retire as soon as you can, for as long as you can, and do what you can for as long as you can. Lots of people complaining about Pattaya being taken over by the Indian people. There's certainly lots of Indians in Pattaya, that's for sure. Question from Frank. Do you need a bank account for a marriage visa? Yes, you do. You still need a bank account because you still have to show the income method or income source to the immigration. So you always need, no matter what visa you're on, you will always need a bank account in your name. And because of that, that's why I disagree with you that bank accounts are gone for foreigners, because you need, no matter what, even if you're on the elite visa, you still need a bank account in your name to show the income or the whatever. So you will always need a bank account. It's just what's going to happen. The envelopes are going to be a little bit bigger. David Baker, hello Les, what are the 3 ways to keep your Thai partner happy? Money, money, and money would be the cynical way, but that's the same with every woman, whether she be Thai or whether she be American or Australian, whatever. And I say that to people, be a good person. If you're a good person, then you're okay. Money has a lot to do with it as well, and I think you'd be a fool to think that if you had no money, the girls will want to be staying with you. I'll tell you this story. I've told it a few times, so forgive me if you've heard the story before. I had a 72-year-old gentleman come to see me because he wanted a Thai woman, and as you can imagine, I've been doing this for a number of years now, so I've met many people. But this story always sticks out because he came to see me because he liked where I lived, because I lived by the fishing lakes. And he said, I love fishing. So he said, I want to live where you are so I can go fishing every day. And when I met him in the coffee shop, he says he wanted a woman with her own house and her own car, didn't need any money from him because she was self-sufficient. And if she had a fishing lake, then that would be great. And I said, and what have you got to give her? He said, nothing. He said, I'm only on my pension. So I said, with respect, John, I said, there's not many Thai ladies that, you know, are looking for a guy, 72-year-old with no money, or has her own house and her own car. So I said, I think you're looking in the wrong direction. And he never even finished his coffee. He just Rayong was a crap place anyway, and off he went. So realistic, I'm on the pecking order in the UK. I'm way down the pecking order because I'm 64. I don't have a house. I don't have a car. I don't have anything at all but my fire brigade pension. So I'm way down the pecking order. At least here in Thailand, I'm up in that pecking order because I've got a pension, and it's a relatively good pension to live here in Thailand. So there's the stability. Whereas in the same stability in the UK, I'm way down on that pecking order. So having a pension and a pulse is good here in Thailand. So that's two things of the three things that you need to keep your wife happy here in Thailand. Have a pulse, have a pension, and be a nice guy. I would say that's the three good things that would get you by in any country. Gordon, no problem eating when in Thailand. Couple of nights in Bangkok and then down to Koh Chang. Got 5 weeks to explore. So if we get sorted like last time, Ploy and you are welcome to visit. Oh, Koh Chang, that's okay. That's only 3 hours away from us. So that would be very acceptable, Gordon. Yeah. So just give us a shout, mate, or send me a mail or email, and we can do that. Looking forward to it. Me and Gordon, we worked together in the fire brigade for many years. He's a wonderful guy, and I learned a lot of good things from him, and he put me straight on a lot of life's things. So thanks to Gordon that I have the thoughts that I have sometimes. You know, he has a good perspective of life, and you know, he should be a life coach because he's very good at it. Look forward to meeting you, Gordon. If you're on your way to Koh Chang from Bangkok, you're more than welcome to stay at our house for a couple of days, and then we can go to Koh Chang from there. But it's up to you. But you're more than welcome to come and stay and put the world to right on our sofa and look at this view behind me. I might even be able to change your life experiences and think, oh, that's a good way of living. Looking forward to it, Gordon. A lot of Facebook pages, how reliable are they? Some use them in promote business, a lot of good general. My wife got done with using the Facebook. We got scammed out 3,500 baht using a Facebook to book a hotel in a beautiful Thai village. So I would go with the old favorites of booking.com and Agoda. At least with them, you guaranteed to have a booking, as opposed to we turned up at the hotel and she said, no, you haven't booked it with us. I'm 99. Yeah, in 99 I was 35, blonde hair, blue eyes. Now I'm 60, bald and a guy, and it's going to cost me more. Yeah, it is. It's like everything else. The older you get, the more it costs for everything. Hopefully the bank account troubles will be resolved soon if they don't clamp down on agencies getting visas for people who don't meet the requirements. Agents, I've had this talk over 10 years, and people said agents are a thing of the past. They'll never ever survive. And there's more agents now than there was 10 years ago. Agents are good at greasing the wheels, and sadly the wheels need greasing all the time over here in Thailand. So there will be a little hiccup. The wheels fell off but the wheel will be put back on very, very swiftly and shortly, and people will go back to normal. This time in 6 months' time, it's like, what problem? It's just going to cost a little bit more money to sort things out. But when all's said and done, what they're doing is that they're trying to sort corruption out, which is going on, scammers, which is going on. So I can't blame them for doing that. I mean, I knew one person who had 9 different bank accounts, and that was an English guy, and he wasn't a very nice guy at all, but he had 9 fictitious bank accounts, what was going on. So it does work, and good for Thailand for cracking down on it. Sadly, it's going to affect a lot of people that are caught up in the nets as well. But when all's said and done, that's the way it goes, isn't it? Maybe as if the other European countries did the same thing, we wouldn't have the problems that we've got. Apparently, London is one of the biggest washing of money in the whole world, and that's by the Arabs and the Ruskies, and it's sort of known about. But the money they make from it is horrendous. So it happens, doesn't it? Hi Les, thank you for suggesting to visit the Barong. Yeah, I mean the Barong Resort is a lovely resort. When I got me 10,000 subscribers, I did a competition, and I offered 2 nights free stay at the Barong Resort, and the guy that won it is expected to be here in July. So if he's here in July, then he's got 2 nights free accommodation at the Barong. The Barong is very, very nice. It's a nice resort. The rooms are beautiful, nice swimming pool, nice relaxing area. And if you want to discover the area, they rent cars out and motorbikes as well. So yeah, the Barong is very nice. It's on booking.com and Agoda, and you won't be disappointed staying there. It's the chinky scammers who are it's more than them ones. It's the Ruskies as well. Everybody is having their pennies worth, and the Chinese, the Russians, the Koreans. So yeah, there's a lot of fingers in that scammer's pie, and hopefully they're cutting down on it. But the Chinese are everywhere in the world trying to scam people. Trace Blackwell, evening Les, good evening Trace, how are you? Hope everything is going okay. Never thought I would see when agents couldn't open a bank account. Too many people getting their backhands for it to stop. Exactly. It's going to stop for a while until the dust settles, and then it'll start again. My pension got in touch with me via email. I had to prove it was an email. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when all said and done, that's what they should be doing. I think they should do it every year. There should be something that every year you need to prove that you're still alive. David Baker, what is your favorite areas in Bangkok? I would say Khao San Road. Khao San Road is my favorite, but Bangkok's such a huge, vast city. There's sort of different areas, but Khao San Road is very good. The Praya River, we went on a river cruise. I think just under 1,000 baht each. It was a buffet, eat as much as you want, and it was for 3 hours up and down the river with live bands on. That was just superb. That was out of this world. It really, really was good. Chatuchak Market has everything that you want in Chatuchak Market, anything and everything. The Bayuk Hotel, that is when my wife used to buy her clothes she used to have a little market stall. We used to go there. Bayuk Hotel is the second tallest hotel in Bangkok, and the views were spectacular. They had a revolving restaurant on the top floor, and if you stayed at the hotel as well, you're allowed to go on the viewing platform, which normally you get charged for if you're not a resident of the hotel. That was fantastic. One of the nicest hotels. We were on the 64th floor, so we had a spectacular view over Bangkok. It was beautiful. So many nice things in Bangkok. I used to love walking around the small streets, surrounded by skyscrapers whilst my wife did the shopping, eating noodles in the. It's just like at the bottom of these massive skyscrapers, just little life goes on as if it's normal in amongst all of these skyscrapers. It's good. Cheers, bud. Would love to come and sit on the sofa, plan to fly down first, and maybe explore on the way back. If we'll see you, and we just ebb and flow like the tide. Yeah, that's good. That sounds good, Gordon. Look forward to it, mate. Have a safe trip. Wednesday, it's just around the corner. That's a good thing about being retired. So you can do all of these things now, Gordon. I know a Thai married to a Swede with a child born in Sweden. The child has both Thai and Swedish nationality. Oh, that must be an answer to one of the questions about, yeah, if the child is born from a Thai resident, then it's going to get dual citizenship for sure. I lived in Pathon near Chatuchak Market. Yeah, I mean, Bangkok is just a vibrant city. I used to think I would never ever drive in Bangkok because it was just like so hectic. But I don't mind driving in Bangkok because it's actually quite slow driving around in Bangkok because there's that much traffic. But I would never ever drive around Bangkok without the aid of a sat nav or Google Maps, because even getting to the hotels, we'd type it in. Sometimes we've got lost, and it's such a calming voice, like turn the next left, turn the next right, do a U-turn, and you eventually get back to it anyway. But Bangkok it's like 24 hours a day. It's open. We went there. We met another guy, Tracy, met us there in Bangkok, and we brought him down to here. And the food, the smells, just around the corner from where we were. It was a cheap hotel. I mean, we only stay in 1,000 to 1,500 baht a night hotels as the norm. And occasionally we do splash out. We live in, a bit more expensive hotels like we did in Ban Rak Thai. That was 4,700 a night compared to 1,500. Was it worth the difference? Yes, it was, because of the views. And we went specifically to Ban Rak Thai to look at the views. So we had to pay a little bit extra. But occasionally, 1,000 to 1,500 baht a night, you can get some beautiful rooms here in Thailand. Why does England let so many immigrants in the country, Les? Yeah, because they're stupid. That's what it is, because they're stupid. And there's some backhanders getting paid to allow it to happen. But that's my view on it. And sadly, it's not going to end soon, is it? It really isn't going to end soon. But how many people it's going to bankrupt the country. £40,000 per year. That's more than the average salary that somebody gets. So basically anybody that's on like 30 to 40,000 pounds a year, they're getting less than what the immigrants are getting paid to come into the country, and they're given nothing back. And then some of the people have been granted asylum will never ever integrate with the UK. But I could go on about this subject all day about it, because I've seen it firsthand, how the criminals and how crime pays in the UK. And that's one of the reasons why I left the UK. But I've seen this coming 20 years ago, and it hasn't disappointed me. If anything, it's got worse. And they get away with it. They really do get away with it, because there's no deterrent, and the jails are full anyway. So now they'll put them on community service, which is I used to work for the probation service, taking people out of community service, and that's a joke. It really is a joke. We're sort of babysitting them for a day, so they can't do exactly what they want. And that was the only deterrent, that they can't do what they wanted to do during the day. But sadly, that's the way it goes. There's no deterrent. There's no punishment in crime. We had one or two offenders who committed 28 crimes before they even went to jail. 28 crimes. Again, I could talk about that all day, and I probably will do. I will do one vlog about that and my frustrations. And I think there is a way. I think the UK can recover from this. but it's not going to be an easy way. The reason why we have so many illegals in England is because the Tories and the Labour don't want to stop them coming. We need to leave the ECHR and get the government with a backbone. I would agree with that. Reform UK is saying the right noises, and hopefully reform will get in. Let's hope that Parliament gets dissolved by the King, because you see he's not very happy with what's going on. There's a lot of bad things. They're not doing what the public are asking. So there is a way, and the King can intervene and call for another election. But whether that's going to happen, I feel. But if they keep on doing what they're doing, running the country down, then somebody will have to do something about it. Les, I got first life certificate letter from the Department of Work and Pensions. Oh, it's gone up now. Let's have a look at that. Your comment just went up there. You need to send a proof signed document back to the UK. The banks will not do it. Eventually got immigration to do it. Yeah, you can get a lawyer to do it as well. Some visa agents can do it. Key Visa, who used to be run by Darren, but sadly he died a couple of years ago, he used to do a proof of life letter. So some visa agents can do it, but a lawyer can do it as well. It might cost you a little bit of money, but if it gets your pension reinstated, then it's worth that amount of money in it. If the UK don't want any refugees, then it doesn't participate in wars in the Middle East. Yeah, again, I think we've caused a lot of trouble for ourselves, and on the people that we've trod on people's feet, and we've done many bad things in the past, but now we're reaping them rewards, aren't we? Most of them end up in jail. It takes years to deport them, even if you can deport them, but that doesn't happen, does it? You're looking well, Les. That keto diet looks like it's working. Yeah, it's working. I only put 2 kilos on over the Christmas and New Year period, which is good, and I'm happy at that. So now I'm back to 104 kilos, and I think when I went away, I got down to 101, 102 kilos. So we've got a few things on the next week or two. So I'm going to go back on the keto diet in the first week of March, and I'll get down to under 100 kilos, which is a good start, because we're going to Bangkok for Songkran, and Bangkok is full of some beautiful food. So I want to lose at least 4 or 5 kilos before we go to Bangkok for the Songkran, which is in April. Khao San Road, somebody just mentioned it, near Khao San Road. Khao San Road is just beautiful. 68% of immigrants in Australia are Chinese and Indian. That's not diverse. Yeah. All part of the WEF agenda, undermine countries so they bring the stakeholder capitalism. Yeah, I think that there's a bigger picture going on, and we're not privy to see what's going on in the big picture. Not sure whether the UK would stand 4 years, and by that will time the pensions extra. Yeah. 4 years of unhappiness. There's no good news, sadly to say, in the UK at the minute. A couple of weeks ago, an illegal being deported was allowed to stay because he didn't like the chicken. Yeah, yeah, I heard the chicken nugget stories. Again, just how can a judge because he didn't like chicken nuggets? What is in the mind of these people that are doing it? There's ulterior motives. There's something else going on that we're not privy to it. It's just, we're a laughing stock. We really are. I don't like chicken nuggets. How dumb are the government ordering Apple take encryption off cloud, and it's always the same reason: pedos and terrorists. Yeah, the whole world is in a mess, isn't it, really? I don't think there's a country, which other country would anybody say has got it right, and everything's hunky-dory type of thing, and everything's sweet and happiness type of thing. Thailand has its problems. Thailand has its ups and downs. And you know, we're going through that at the minute, the ups and downs, and you know, with the visas, with the bank, you know, so we still have problems in Thailand. So it's not necessarily the UK, America, Australia. But do you remember when we were young, you know, everybody looked upon as America being the land of the free, and where people wanted to move. You had your big house, your big car, your big salaries, your wives worked at home looking after the kids. That was the American dream. And now the Americans can't afford the American dream, and neither can everybody else. You used to be able to buy a house in the UK on a single person salary, but now it takes two people, you know, because it's probably 8 to 10 times more than the average wage to be able to buy a house in the UK. That's unaffordable. Why have we got to this stage? You know, it just didn't happen overnight. It's crept in over years. And sadly, the youngsters of today will never be able to enjoy the lifestyle we had when we grew up as kids, because it's just impossible. You know, work until you drop, bringing in the retirement age to 70 years old now. I'm lucky I retired at 50 because I was in the right queue at the right time at 19 years old. I didn't join the job so I could retire at 50. I joined the job because I was on strike at the British Steel and I had no money. And I applied for the place and I applied for the fire brigade, and the fire brigade took me on and I never looked back. But I certainly didn't do it because the wages, I was on £200 a month less working as a firefighter than I was in the steelworks, but the steelworks were on strike, and I thought, well, I needed to do something because I had no money for 6 weeks. Right place, right time, and right outcome. But now everybody has to work until they're 65, 66, 67. They're looking at turning up to 70. And I've got to say, I mean, a 64-year-old, things are starting to go wrong now. I'm feeling old, ache in the morning when I first get up, having to go to work to do that, and then retire at 70, and then do all the things. Your golden years, you've worked your golden years now, in my mind. Where's all the enjoyment in life? You've worked all of them years, well, the golden years to be able to do the things that you wanted to do, all the holidays, you know, the exciting times, that go and travel. It's just, no, you can't do that now until you're 70. 70 is too old to be able to enjoy them things. So basically, the governments around the world want you to work and then die, and then they're happy with everything because you've succeeded in working all your life, contributed to society, but society doesn't have to give you anything back because you're dead. Les none, because they don't listen to the people who know what they're talking about, and they won't be able to exploit it. Yeah, again. So sad about Steady Eddie and his cancer. Yeah, again, like I've mentioned so many times on this channel, I was never really a big fan of Steady Eddie's. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I still feel sorry for him because, you know, at 62-year-old, he said, right, I'm going to start traveling the world now, because if I don't do it now, he said, I might get too old. And sadly, he only had a couple of years of traveling around the world. That's what I'm saying, you know, illness can come and affect any one of us at any stage. I've just watched Eddie where the other day when he got told it's a matter of months, 12 months to 15 months before he's due to die. And like people have said to him, well, go out with a bang, travel around, and just like exactly what he says, you're not in that frame of mind when you know you're on your last few months, illness comes in and tiredness and fatigue and stuff like that. So you're not in the same frame of mind of before you were diagnosed with the illness. So I do feel sorry for Eddie. And again, he's on his last 12 to 15 months. So what he's going to do with them 12 to 15 months, I don't know. But, you know, I wish the guy happiness in his last few months type of thing, and I hope it's not painful. But again, I feel sorry for the guy. Not my cup of tea as a guy, as a traveller, but I still feel sorry for him because of the situation that he's in. And that situation can hit any of us at any time. So retire as soon as you can, for as long as you can, whilst you can, and do the things that you want to do in life, because you never know. We all know how much money we have in the bank, but we never know how much time we have. And the minute you're born, that clock starts ticking, and one day that clock will stop ticking. Bobby Robson and Jack Charlton worked down the pit before they were footballers. If it was a bet of money down the pit, Les. Yeah, again, I mean, I've never been a football fan. I've never really been into sports and things like that. But I remember watching some documentary about the Middlesbrough football players who used to have to catch the bus to go and play football. It was a proud moment. You used to take your football boots with you in a carrier bag on a bus to go to the next. They didn't have the team coaches and things like that. It was a privilege to play football. Look at the now, multi-millionaires playing football, kicking a bag of wind around, and how can you say that they are worth millions of pounds a month to play football when there's such clever people such as doctors, surgeons, stuff like that who gives to society, as opposed to kicking up a bag of wind around for 90 minutes and then they say, oh, I'm tired. Once you've got all success in life with your BMWs and your Mercedes, your Ferraris, your big 20 million bedroomed house type of thing, where's the incentive to play football? I'll play 15 or 20 minutes for it and then I'll come off because I'm tired. Footballers deserve a good income because they provide entertainment, but the money in football is far, far, far too much. But then again, I'm not a football fan. But yeah, I remember watching the story, and I went to play. Well, I watched football once. Middlesbrough play Wolves. That's the one and only time I went to a football match, and I enjoyed it. I've got to say it was fun, but never felt the need to go and watch football all the time. Son got a job on the railway. One of the first injuries that still does the good pension scheme. Only good thing about Labour was that the decent pay, the rise. Again, I mean, some people knock me about my pension, fire brigade pension. It's like a gold leaf plated and stuff like that. And I've got to say, my pension is a good pension, and there's no doubt about it. It's a public service pension. But I didn't join the fire brigade because it was a public service pension and it was a gold leaf pension. At 19, I got a job because I needed a job. It's the unions that fought for that pension. It's the unions that fought for our terms and conditions and service. But when I joined the fire brigade, the average life expectancy of a firefighter once they retired was 10 years. So would you deny them a good pension for the last 10 years of what they did? It's only because of the unions and health and safety and stuff like that that give us better conditions with regard to personal protective equipment, breathing apparatus, safety standards and stuff like that. That all improved our longevity. And now that has actually changed. You can't retire at 50 now. I think it's a minimum of 55. But trying to get firefighters to work till a 60-year-old. Do you want a 60-year-old firefighter trying to rescue you or do something? 60-year-old for a firefighter, physically wise, is too much, in my belief. And but 55 is probably acceptable. But now the government, now you have to work until you're at least 60. They've reduced the pension benefits and stuff like that. So when all said and done, yes, I'm lucky that I joined the right queue at the right time at 19-year-old, and I'm lucky now that I'm reaping the rewards of that. But we paid into it. We paid 11% of our salary into the pension, so it wasn't given to it for free. I've got emphysema now, likely through caused with the breathing, the smoke and stuff like that. Post-traumatic stress, many firefighters suffer from that as well. The horrendous things that we've seen and dealt with over the period of time that we're in there, it all takes its toll. And when all's said and done, we're there to help and serve people. And there's nobody who refused to help other people. In 9/11, when that happened, many, many, many years ago, you never seen any firefighter say, I'm not going up there. They were in there. the any fire, we run into it. We don't run away from it, and that's the fire service. It will always be the same. Is the steelworks still open, Les? No, the steelworks are closed now. In fact, I think it was last week or the week before, the last steelworks in the UK is closed. So now UK does not produce any steel. They buy all the steel. So again, another great industry ruined. And England isn't a manufacturer of a place now. We used to do with railways. Railways, the steel used to go all over the world. Australia, the bridge, was built by British Steel, and now the steelworks is gone. Will never ever return. The decimation of the UK is horrendous. Crazy, isn't it? But the steelworks, I enjoyed working at the steelworks. Although I only did it for less than 2 years, it was a good experience. I learned, and I drove some very, very big machinery in the steelworks, and it was an exciting thing going on the blast furnaces and seeing how steel was made. But then when we went on strike, we were on strike for 13 weeks, and 6 weeks of that, and I'm thinking, okay, I need some money because I've got no money now for 6 weeks. So one has to look for another job, and I did. And luckily enough, the fire brigade took me on, and I never ever looked back. But it was a good job, and it's made me the person that I am now. I'm a helpful person, and I know many things. I've seen many tragedies, which gives me my outlook on life to do whatever you want to do, because when all's said and done, you only get one chance at living this life. So be helpful, be a nice person, and do a good turn for everybody. And that's what I do. Railway pension myself, but had to pay into it over 40 years and getting the money. Yeah, that the railway drivers are getting a hammering off the government at the minute. Again, it's due to the negotiations of the unions. That's why you got such a good pay rise or whatever. I've got no problems with that, because you got your money what you were worth to do it, and unions are very, very good. Now again, they're trying to stamp down on all the unions. So well done for getting your pension, and well done for any the public sector workers get whatever they get. The private people always used to get better pay rises than the public service. The train drivers are always been on a good salary. Yeah, stop steel now. Trump is putting a 25% tariff on it. Yeah, he's putting it. I think that this is going to be a bit of a backfiring onto him with Trump, because it has happened. And just reading the news and in between the lines, he's upsetting a lot of people as well as he's doing some good. He's sort of a double-edged sword, isn't he? For every person that likes him, there's an equal person that doesn't like him, and all the fraudsters will hate him for stopping their gravy train. Right, so that's me last water gone now. So I'm going to get a croaky voice. We've been at it now for 2.5 hours, plus 2 hours I talked this morning. It's 4.5 hours I've never stopped talking. My wife laughs at me because she's been going in and out, and she said, "You're just talking alone. You're not talking to anybody." And that's the case. I'm sat talking to you through a camera. There's not a physical person here. So to be able to think, and thank you very much for the questions and the comments and stuff like that, because that dictates the flow of the conversations and things like that. And while there's people here talking and asking questions, and you're welcome to ask any questions you want, and I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. But it's good having this conversation with people, again, from the UK or from America, Canada, Australia. When all's said and done, because I talk to that many different people, the people in America and Australia and New Zealand certainly have the same problems as we do in the UK, except it's a different country. But when all's said and done, the problems are the same problems. And, what's the answer to it all? We've cocked everything up in all of the years. I mean, the debt I mean, in America, trillions, trillions of dollars. And how do you pay that debt off? It's just an impossibility. One day the balloon is just going to burst one day. Then what happens to the world? With England, you're running the country down to the ground, not saying good things about it. Everybody wants positivity, but at the minute there's no positivity in the UK. Everybody's down. There's no good news, and if there's no good news, why should people stay? I read some report, every 45 minutes there's a millionaire leaving the UK. Now, the millionaires are wealth generators, and if they're not there to provide the wealth generation, such as jobs and infrastructure and stuff like that, why should people stay? It seems to be that all the good people are leaving and all the bad people are coming. And when does that balance alter? That there's so many bad people in the UK, and it will never ever recover. What can be done to improve the UK? How can it change direction? Now, I've got my own thoughts on that, but it's sort of an impossible, because I'm just a normal Joe Public type of thing, and if I can see what's going on with the country, why can't the government see what's going on? It just seems that their eyes are closed to all of this feeling that us normal everyday people have, that we don't understand, we don't know how the world works. But in fact, I would say the working class people, the normal everyday people, has a better view of what the world, compared to somebody who is wealthy, because a wealthy rich person is always going to be wealthy and rich, and they will never ever see the poverty. They'll never ever worry about eating or eating. That to them is just like, what? You can't afford to put the heating on. In our 6-bedroom mansions, we always have the heating on. And the people who are in power, the MPs who get all the freebies and all the gifts and backhanders type of thing, and it does go on, doesn't it? They don't see every day. One of the MPs had an apartment, and he was allowed to get rent for his apartment, and he moved to the apartment right next door to his apartment. And he's answered, well, I'm allowed to do that, even because he just rented another apartment, and he got an allowance for renting out this apartment whilst he rented his own apartment out, which was next door. And he said, I've done nothing wrong. I'm allowed to do that. Okay, you're allowed to do it, but morally and judgmental, should you be doing that? And when all said and done, his snout is in the trough and he's in the gravy train, and why shouldn't he do it? And let's, 10 out of 10 people, probably 9 out of 10 would do the same, because why shouldn't you be doing? He's doing it, and so why should I be the odd one out? It's the odd one out people who are the people, the salt of the earth, who will bend over backwards to help everybody else out. But then they're drowned in by all the other people saying, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that, this is what you need to be doing, fleecing everybody, and they'll get sucked into it, because then it's the norm to do it. Oh, well, they're doing it, so why shouldn't I be doing it? I've seen it so many times. Crazy. Nobody in Europe voted for Islamic immigration. No, they didn't. It got my own theory of that is that I think there's going to be a mass uprising, and the whole of Europe and the UK have been invaded stealthily, and it only takes somebody to light the blue touch paper, and the whole of Europe and the UK will go up in one big disturbance, and there's nobody can control that, because it only takes one person to frighten. I've got to be careful with my words here, so I'll use some YouTube friendly words. It only takes one person to make everybody else frightened, and when you've got hundreds of thousands of people want to make you frightened, then that's a hard battle to win, isn't it? And I think what's going to happen, certainly within the next 4 or 5 years, there'll be a lot of frightened people about, and the people that are doing the frightening are the people that nobody wanted in the first place. And then all of this integration and stuff like that, and it's just going to cause a catastrophe in the wrong sort of ways in the whole of the world, the Europe and UK. That's my little that's my little nugget of what I think is going to go on, because you can just see it's happening. It's happening every day, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. But all them little bits add to a big bit, and that's what's going to happen. The worst person you could be in the UK right now is male and white. Yeah, I could agree with that as well. Trace, not sure if Les is the same thing every now and again. Got the other night, plague of hundreds of them. Normally okay this time of year because it's cooler. Oh, I must have missed that. Must have missed that one, but anyway. Donald Duck, President of the USA. But Donald Duck, whether you like him or whether you hate him, is saying what the people want to hear. And the only people that are really against him is the people with the snouts in the trough and who's got a lot of things to lose. He's saying the right things that people want to hear. And maybe as we could do with a little bit of that over in the UK, because there's so much fraud and there's so much wokeness in the UK. It's just unbelievable. And again, this has been going on for a number of years. And I'll give you one example. In the fire brigade, when I worked in the fire service many years ago, we got inspected by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Fire Brigades, and we were all male in our Cleveland fire service. And the inspector said we are underrepresented by female and ethnic minority groups, so we should do something about it. So we had positive discrimination, and so we had a Women's Awareness Day where we only had women who could come and trial being a firefighter for the day. And I was hauled into the office for my views, and I was told in no uncertain words to alter my perception of women in the fire brigade. I've got nothing against women in the fire brigade. But when we went for an exercise, we were cutting cars open with a thing called the jaws of life, and they are bloody big, heavy things, and they crush cars and they cut through cars, and they have to be heavy because they have to put up, it really, really is tough. And what I had to do, I had to hold the jaws of life up there, cutting this car up, so the woman could press the button. And when we came back and we had our debriefing with it, and we had this fairness and equality of firefighters and things like that, and why women should be in the fire brigade. And I said to the woman, I said, listen, I said, as a taxpayer, I said, and the person maybe is one day who requires the help of the fire service, I said, I want a big airy ass firefighter that can do everything. He can kick the doors down, he can rescue me. And at the time I was 17 stone, drag me down the stairs, use the jaws of life and press the button himself. And I said, the majority of women that we've had come here can't do any of them things. And then he was like, Les, office, straight away, without the woman even answering the question. So I was hauled into the office and told to remedy my thinking. And I said, no, I said, I'm a taxpayer. I said, and I might one day want some big area ass firefighter to come and rescue me. And I said that the people, I said, merit, get the people who can do all the jobs, not just, half the amount of jobs. There's a place for women in the fire brigade. No disrespect to the women in the fire brigade. But as far as wokeness is concerned, you want the best person, the best applicant to do the job. And I'm saying that with any and every job throughout the whole world. The most suitably qualified person, if that happens to be a male, well then that's what it is, it's a male. Not because we have to employ 20 women because we're underrepresented by women and ethnic minority groups who can't do the job, but we'll let it slide. That's my thing. And Trump has almost said the same thing with DAI or DEI, with the wokeness and things like that. Let's get back to some common sense. The right person for the job, whether it's male or female, get it all put back to as it was, because we're too woke. We've gone the other way because we don't want to upset things. We don't want to upset people. integrate the people, yes, but if they're not suitable for the job, then they don't get the job. Scott Green, you prefer karma? Yes, I prefer karma. Keep your wealth in gold, not flat money. Yeah, well, I haven't got any gold. The only money that I get is from my pension every month, and I spend that every month. I don't save it. I'm happy spending it, and that's the way it goes. Andrew Lloyd, highlights just back from Banksaray, driven down from Lokok, Patham Thai. Just over 2 hours steady run. There's been some rain and apparently good for the garden. Yeah, there's been a bit of rain, bit of a thunderstorm yesterday. Blew a lot of trees off the blew a lot of leaves off the trees. So now that's my job tomorrow, leaf picking on the garden. Keep your money in the wealth. Yeah, I'd like to do that, but I can't. Oh, hi Dave, retired, don't give up. Hi Les, sorry I was finishing up my next video, ADV 350 ride into history. That other guy that we talked about is just evaluated a bike. Is it KXG or something like that? It's a Thailand made 300cc bike, which is about the same size as a Honda PCX, and it's 99,800. So I don't know what the reviews are with that, but I think if you're going to buy a bike that's half the price as a Honda or a ADV type of thing, there's got to be some quality missing in half the price. I don't think 99,800 gives you a proper 300cc motorbike. But who am I? I've got my little 160cc motorbike, and I'm happy with that. Peter Smith, hairy ass firefighter. Yeah, unless you got a hairy ass woman firefighter who's on steroids and yeah. Okie dokie. Right, here we go. I'm gonna draw this to a close now. I've been on here almost 3 hours now, 2 hours 51 minutes. My voice is going and it's getting croaky type of thing. So I'm gonna close the session. Thanks very much for everybody that joined the conversation. Much appreciated. Without you, it wouldn't be happening. And again, we're coming up to another 3 hour session, which is always good. It means, the conversations there, people keep asking the questions, and 3 hours. So I'll do it again in another 2 weeks time, I think. Yeah. Retired, don't give a good price, but there's a Honda dealer on every, again, buy the proper motorbike and where we go. But anyway, I could talk about that again for another session. So thanks very much everybody for joining in. Much appreciated. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It all helps the numbers. I'm only 40 away from 14,000, so let's see if we can get the 40 from this live stream. So thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.